sports sound.
On BBC Radio Scotland.
Welcome to Open the Mics on BBC Radio Scotland. The team's just going out around the country there. We can see the pictures coming into the studio. Tom English is alongside me here with Andy Halliday. So we'll keep an eye on all the games this afternoon. Let's get to the match in Paisley. Rory Loy is here for us, St Mirren against Falkirk. Quite a tough one to call this afternoon, Rory.
Yes, it is, because some would argue that St Mirren are in a bit of a false position, whether that be due to their League Cup heroics or whether that be simply down to not playing as many games as the other teams. Falkirk are doing fantastically well. There is a bit between them in the league, but I think this will be really, really tight. St Mirren normally good from set pieces. They've got a lot of height in their team, but I think they'll miss Gogic through suspension. He's been playing in midfield recently. O'Hara as well is out longer term. So Taylor and Donnelly come in today. They've got a big job in their hands to fill the boots of those two. And as for Falkirk, I think it'll just be keep doing what they're doing and see if they can pick up a result. Yeah, really good game to look forward to there. Let's get to the two matches we're covering in the Championship today. First up, Somerset Park, Ayr United against Airdrie. What do you think this one will look like today, Chick?
Interesting as ever, Kenny, in this Championship race. The first thing I want to give a vote of thanks to is the Airdrie have changed their strip. Not that ridiculous diamond with the tiny number in black on the red background. Lovely white numbers on a blue jersey for them at the back. It's Ayr United desperate for the points, of course, because they want to get in this playoff position, and Airdrie just looking over their shoulder, a short nose, a short head in front of the clubs behind them, but they need to get points on the board as well. There's been a bit of a resurgence under the new manager, of course, but here's a chance for Ayr United right on. They just kind of get the ball into the box. It's whipped in now. I think it's going to come to anything, which claims for a penalty, gets knocked away, Ken. Yeah, it's going to be interesting right in the start.
Yeah, that's a good game to look forward to there. It should be a really interesting game. Stephen Craig at Starks Park. You were talking before there about the incredible job the management team have done for Arbroath. Hey there, Stephen. No, I think we just had a wee click there, which usually means the line has dropped off. We'll get back to Stephen Craig and Wraith Rovers against Arbroath. Arbroath very much in the mix for the playoffs come the end of the season. So just looking, Tom, at that game at Celtic Park.
Card early on.
All right, yeah, on you go, Alan.
Cab on goal for Livingston, and Bruce Anderson, nice touch. Stops the ball, then moves again outside. Cab on goal, dives right in. Yellow card early on in this game here. What, a minute on the clock, you're already, your centre half's under real pressure.
Right, just about to get underway at Celtic Park. Come back to you, Tom. Stephen, you're with us there at Starks Park?
Yeah, I am indeed, Ken. I'm here now, and I have to say, when you consider it's the two guys' first job in management, they've went from playing, they're now, I think David Gold's on the bench this afternoon, to take the club from the bottom of League One to the top of the Championship is it's an incredible record for them. However, they want to keep it going. They want to give themselves a chance of being in the playoffs for the Premiership. So this one, along with Wraith Rovers and Dougie Emery's side, started really well under Dougie. He'll hope it continues this afternoon.
Big things expected of Martin O'Neill, Tom, but essentially he's just got the same players to work with. I mean, it's a difficult situation for him, isn't it?
It is, but you can imagine he's going to do. A lot of them are easy fixes, and by going for a four at the back, he fixes a lot of the weaknesses and the vulnerabilities in this team straight away just by doing that. Square pegs, square holes. So I think these players will be a lot more confident in this structure, and I don't think they're going to be as vulnerable in this structure. So let's see if they can get a performance, if O'Neill can work his magic again. You have to remember that yes, he won 7 out of 8 games. He won all the domestic games while he was here last time, but some of those were real grinds. Some of those were really toiling performances where the lack of a striker almost cost them. So they fell over the line a couple of times. This will be interesting to see what kind of a tune he can get out of them today.
There's no doubt, Andy, certainly at the moment, the fear factor of facing the big two, that's gone, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think you could even see that with the approach that teams were taking against Wilfred Nancy's team. But listen, it was 7 wins at 8, like Tom said. It wasn't exactly the best performances to watch, but the fact of the matter is they were grinding out wins, and I think the Celtic fans would have took them grinding out wins over the last 8 games that they've just watched under Wilfred Nancy. So they played Dundee United ever so recently in a game where they were excellent for the first period of the game, and that lack of striker, that lack of someone that can put the ball at the back of the net, at the top end of the pitch, really hurt them that day. They still do have the same personnel, but you've got to fancy Celtic to be strong favourites today.
I mean, you look with that. Iheanacho injured. He was a last-minute buy in the last last window. Maeda, who wanted to leave the club in the summer. Johnny Kenny, who's not good enough.
He could be off.
All right, okay, Alan.
Cabangolo, he's a lucky lad. Have a look at this one. He catches the Kelly player late. That could have been a second yellow. Lucky boy. I think Davy Martindale's got to have a look at this already.
Well, I tell you what, watching it, I thought the first yellow card was harsh given the timing of the game. I didn't think there was any real petulance within it, but I think he's extremely lucky not to receive a second yellow card. For me, that's a lot worse, a lot more glaring of a foul than it was in the first. Looks as if Kelly were on the attack down that left hand side when he brings him down, so wouldn't be surprised to see Davy already look to his bench so early in the game.
Wow, that'd be some move, wouldn't it? Let's get to the game then at Easter Road. Michael Stewart is there for us. This should be, you'd expect, a classic this afternoon. Two really good sides, Michael.
Absolutely. Two top teams. Nothing's really happened as yet. Obviously, it's just a couple of minutes into the game, but it's, as I said earlier on, eagerly anticipated game between 4th and 5th in the league here, and it's going to have a real shake-up in regards to the top of the table. I heard you obviously talking before about who's in the league title and race. I don't think either of these sides are going to be in a title race, but certainly I've mentioned it before with regards to Motherwell, and I think Hibs definitely fall into that category as well. I think they'll have a big say in where the title ends up, because these are two teams that are capable of beating anybody, home or away, on their day, and I don't think anybody.
Again, it's a third foul by him.
Oh dear.
Davy Martindale has to get him off. He has to get him off.
Oh, what's he thinking of there? He's so late.
It's so rash as well. The ball's not even there to be won. He comes
Danny
straight through the back.
Instantly. Danny's sitting on the bench. He's instantly out for a warm-up. He can't continue with this young man, I'm afraid.
Well, I thought he might make the change after seeing the second foul. I think that's just confirmed his decision after the third there. And like he says, even knowing you're on a yellow card, Kenny, you start to play the game a wee bit more cautiously, especially when balls are not there to be won. You might just stay on your feet. But he's literally just flew through the back of John Jules there. It's actually got to the point that I'll be amazed if Davy Martindale doesn't make the change.
Yeah, he's got to do that.
The camera pan to Neil McCann at all during those 3 fouls?
Not yet. It's been interesting to watch him in the touch. He's quiet. That'll change. I mean, Michael's through there at the game at Easter Road. Elliot Watt, a big mystery, of course. Andy, Michael's spoken a lot about him in this programme, and we've been asking the guys, any sort of outsiders, if you like, to get to the Scotland squad for the World Cup finals. Talk to us about what he's like as a player. What do you see?
He's excellent, and again, pretty similar to what I was saying about Motherwell as a team. You know, I think a lot of stuff's talking about his range of passing, how comfortable he is in the build-up play and receiving it in tight areas. But off the ball does a power of work for the team as well. You know, a big reason we've conceded the least amount of goals in the league for me is a lot of the work that Elliot Watt and Lucas Verdinger does in the middle of the pitch. But I must say, I think any time that Oscar Priestman's played, I think he's done extremely well. He's just been really unlucky that the two guys in front of him, have been arguably the two best midfielders in the league. So it's a great opportunity for Oscar to try to nail down the jersey spot if he goes and plays really well today. But obviously, I think would I like Elliot Watt to be in the team today.
You look at the starkest difference between last season and this season with Motherwell is goals against. You know, points is they're +6, which is good, but it's +6. Goals, they're +3 this time last year. Goals against, 34 last season at this point, 16 this time. That's a massive difference.
Yeah,
Andy, can I just ask you, see, I think every manager when they join a new club comes in with the best of intentions. We're going to play this way, we're going to, implement certain ideas, and a couple of games in it's not going your way, you go back to basics, that type of idea. What sets the manager apart in terms of him being able to communicate clearly and concisely what he wants from his players, the players understanding it? Now, I know you'll do off-pitch stuff in terms of analysis and on the pitch, but is there anything that sets him aside in terms of getting his players to fully take in the message and be able to execute it?
Well, I think the two biggest things is number one, information, clarity in your role within it, and then second of all, demand. I mentioned earlier about Paul McGinn giving away a loose pass for the goal kick within 10 minutes of the game. When you look at how the next 80 minutes went, I think we then seized control back of the game against Rangers. I thought we played really well, and that was to demand to still continue what you're doing regardless of mistakes. I think yourself, Stephen and Michael, I'll attest that under previous managers that want to play a certain way, if you make a couple of mistakes within that, quite often the information is, right, maybe turn them for the next 5-10 minutes and play your way back into the game. Yeah. I'd actually go it's the opposite under this guy. If you start to turn it for 5-10 minutes when it's maybe on to play that shorter pass, you might find yourself at the team pretty quickly, because such is the demand and how he wants you to play. And then the second of all, like I said, is clarity and information. I think obviously you do enough analysis throughout the week to know what a team's probably going to do against you in terms of their shape and their setup, but he's already got, if they change to that way, if they change to, you know, pressing with 2 up front, 3 up front, 4 up front, and then go man for man, he already, and the players already know how that in-game change is going to look like. So it's not a case of they've made a tactical tweak after 15 minutes. You won't then probably get new information at half time. He's already done 3-4 different scenarios on the training pitch that week.
And in not terms surprising, of substitution at Livingston.
Yeah, he's gone.
Kabangolo off, Danny Wilson on.
And I'm also seeing an early change at Celtic Park, Ian McCall.
I don't think there's been it.
Was there not the United player? No, sort of some got gone off it. I wasn't sure if he got substituted, but certainly he took a knock.
Well, listen, the one thing I've noticed, Kenny, is I don't know if there's a name for a low block, but the United are genuinely, they've got 11 players about 20-25 yards from their own goal, and it's proven really hard for Celtic to play through them.
Deep.
Incredibly deep. I mean, unbelievably deep.
Well, I don't know if there is, Collie, but I'm sure that low block will no catch on.
No, I don't think so.
What's happening in the early? Have you seen anything? Is there a different intensity, Ian, about Celtic today?
No, I think they find it a little bit hard. I mean, they're moving the ball reasonably well, but it's definitely the same shape as it was when Martin was here before, and very similar to what Brendan Rodgers played. And I think Tanek's has started the game really well. There's a fluidity about the 3 midfield players. Certainly Callum McGregor is the one that it very much stays central, maybe a 15 yards either side, but Hatate and Engels, I think, have got the freedom to get forward, get any little pockets of space. But I mean, the game's been there's been no chances, Kenny, but it's been so one-sided, and possession wise I shudder to think what it is.
Yeah, I've just had a wee look there, the live text. Savel's down holding his thigh, shaking his head at the oncoming physio. So I don't know if he's been forced into that change yet or not. And also an early head knock for Will Ferry as well, wasn't it? So they've been in the wars.
Seville's just still on.
He's still on, so he's okay.
He's limping a little bit, so I'll let you know if he has to get taken off.
Good
Kenny's
stuff.
just predicting subs that are going to happen, I think.
No, I just looked up at the screen and saw him shaking his head as if he was finished. Do you know that look you see the players, they give this a hand signal, the head shake as if I'm done. That's what it looked like. But man, listen, he's still on. We'll see if he survives the game. Let's get to the match then in Paisley. Rory Loy is there for us. What's happening in the early stages, Rory?
Not a lot of goal-mouth action, I have to say, so far, Kenny. Falkirk are having the better of it, though. St Mirren, you're used to seeing them dominating the middle of the pitch and then getting the ball wide. It's Falkirk that are doing that. Brad Spencer in the middle of the pitch is dictating play. They're getting the ball wide. Calvin Miller's picking up that 10 position really well and getting the ball in space. So Falkirk are having the better of it by quite some distance so far, although no goal-mouth action. Still 0-0, Kenny.
Right, OK, no goal-mouth action there. Just let's get to the game at Easter Road. Michael's there for us. Anything happening at all by way of excitement at the early stages, Mikey?
There's a couple of occasions Hibs have managed to get in just in the inside right channel. It's been balls from deep, just played in behind Stephen Welsh, and the pace of Ellie Youhan running in behind. It didn't come to anything, but certainly I don't know whether it's something that David Gray's been looking at just to try to exploit the pace from Youhan, but just on a couple of occasions he's got in behind, but believe it or not, there was no end product from it.
See, sometimes, Andy, can a player get overloaded with information? Because you're talking a little bit the amount of, say, setups there are from when the keeper's got the ball, the options that they've got, but does that sometimes ever become just too much, or is everyone real? Is it all about that clarity of message?
Yeah, well, I think it's been incrementally done. It wasn't an overload of message within the first couple of weeks. Obviously, you're fortunate enough with a new manager, the time when he came in, that you've got 8 weeks of pre-season, and I think if you look at a League Cup group stage, you look at maybe even early season domestically, it didn't exactly start on fire, so it's just been progressive over time. Like I said, gradually players taking on information, guys finding form, guys finding fitness, and then naturally just starting to find a level you try and operate at on a weekly basis. But no, listen, a lot's talked about the manager, a lot's talked about the style. Obviously a big thing for football clubs was recruitment as well. I think you've got to say the amount of players that we've brought in over the summer, I think so many have made an impact, whether it's been the domestic players, you know, guys that have played in the league that have came in and made a difference, and obviously the managers probably had an eye on players in the Danish league as well. So I think the players have came in and been great, but again, it's going to be a difficult game today. Hibs are a really good side. I think they've got loads of athleticism through their team. Obviously both teams sitting well in the league as well, and both probably quite...
Is the plan to leave Grant Hanley on it today, Andy?
I'll stay well clear of that one, I think.
We had quite the debate in this programme. Tom English was disrespectful, was that the something you're accused of that day? You've been disrespectful?
No, I wasn't Bertolescu accused of being disrespectful.
That's right, that's what
I was sticking up for Bertolescu
100%.
We all want to be honesty, don't we, boys?
Yeah,
Want a bit of honesty.
I was in Grant Hanley's side. He's the boys from Dumfries. He was the second best player ever to come out of Dumfries.
I think Mikey might be able to answer that one. He's there watching it for us, so you might be able to see.
Interested if there's any sort of reaction there at all. Let's then get to the two games in the Championship today. Chick Young's down at Somerset Park for us. Ayr United against Airdrie. What's happening, Chick?
Mostly Ayr United, I would say, at this stage. We haven't had any real clear-cut opportunities on goal for neither Harry Stone, the Airdrie goalkeeper, who used to play, of course, for Ayr United in the days when Scott Brown used to just about rotate his goalkeepers on a weekly basis. Nothing much for Liam Russell to do either. In the Ayr United goal, I would say that most of the possession and passing has belonged to United, but no real thrills in this game so far. It still has to ignite, to be perfectly honest with you, Kenny. As I said, both teams battling for points for differing reasons, and Ayr United, I think there's a lot of appreciation, incidentally, if you talk about who's going to be in that playoff, for how Arbroath have sustained life within the playoff places. Ayr United trying to get up and catch them and get beyond them, but Arbroath have been very much an impact team in this division.
Good move at Easter Road. It started from Grant Hanley at the back, building it up nicely out to the right hand side, up to LEU, and he took it and well dropped off and then spun it out wide to Jordan Abita, and Kieran Bowie made a really good run across the front of the goal, and it was a Nicky Cadden-esque sort of ball in behind. He didn't get any contact on it, however it's gone behind for a corner kick, and maybe see Grant Hanley getting on the end of it and putting it in the back of the net.
That'd be a good celebration, wouldn't it? Stephen Welsh is doing well, hasn't he?
He didn't hit the target though.
Chance out. I mean, Stephen Welsh, there's a fair bit of speculation around him right now. He's done really well, hasn't he?
He's been excellent. He's been really good, and I think a lot of the information that the manager gives to his centre-halves and how he wants them to operate in possession and out of possession, I think Stevens took it like a duck to water. I think it's probably not too dissimilar that he's done at times under Celtic, and I hope this doesn't come across the wrong way, because I certainly don't mean it that way, because I've always known he's a good player, but I think he's even surprised me at how well he's done. I mean, you talk about being steady, I think he's been more than that. I think he's actually been an 8 out of 10 every week, and again, a big part of that defensive record that we spoke about has been down to Stephen, and I've got to mention Paul McGinn, 35 years of age, and I think a lot of people will talk about Paul McGinn and talk about that steady fullback that's very rarely makes mistake. I don't think he's ever been described as a ball-playing centre-half that builds the game the way he's done this year, so I think he's been excellent as well, and just signed a contract extension that was thoroughly deserved.
Just one final question for now on the manager, because we're all pretty fascinated by him. He's very cool, very calm, very composed. Does he lose it? Have you seen the other side of him?
He has, but only a couple of times, and again, I do think that's really important. If you're asking players to play a certain way, if they make mistakes, I just don't think it looks right if you're then ranting and raving on the side of the pitch, because you're asking them to be brave in and out of possession, so you've got to expect mistakes at certain times, and I think that can rub off on players. If you see you making a glaring mistake in a certain area of the pitch, and you actually look to the manager and he's actually applauding the effort and wants you to continue to do so, I think it then relieves a bit of pressure off you. You then garner confidence from it, so I think his demeanour as well is as impressive as any information or style we spoke about. So again, nothing seems to fluster him so far. He has lost it a couple of times, and again, you certainly don't want to go on that side of him. It can be scary.
Should have scored here, Kenny. Ayr United is like Ben Dempsey, clear. He's 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper. He's clean through. He should score. Tries to shimmy a little bit and knock it beyond him. The goalkeeper gets down round the post for a corner kick. Should have been 1-0 Ayr United. It's not.
Rory Loy.
Yeah, Falkirk have hit the bar here. It was cut back to Tate. The amount of room when St Mirren go forward, they're committing bodies forward, and you're exposed 2v2 at the back there. And Barney's shot runs in on the angle, decides to cut it back to Tate. His shot takes a deflection and hits off the bar. Falkirk by a good stretch the better team, as I said, but no real quality in the final third yet. Still 0-0.
Right, let's get around the grounds. Then I want to speak about transfers, and maybe Alan can chat through. Just is a bit more complicated than us in the media actually understand that it is, and maybe some transfer stories from the guys that have fallen through, or interesting transfer news that they've heard through the past few years. Let's then get first of all to Celtic Park. Let's start our commentary match there. Ian McCall's there for us. Celtic against Dundee United. What's happening, Ian?
Well, there was just a chance, Kenny, 3 or 4 minutes ago. The first chance, I'm not even sure it was a great chance, but I think it was a Tierney cross, got to the line. Nice pass from Cal McGregor, and Yang, who's not the biggest, but he got really well at the back post. Oh, nearly an own goal there, just past the post. He got really well at the back post, but headed it over it. It's still, Dundee United are still in this mega low block, I think that's what we'll call it. And Celtic are absolutely dominating. They just need to, I think, up the tempo. Just before you came to me, I thought for 4 or 5 minutes that the goal might be coming. They've got a corner just now, but they're certainly well on top. There must be at least 70-75% possession.
Right,
there's
next
substitution here at Easter Road. Yeah, I know how you like them, Kenny. And before you jump, it's Stephen O'Donnell's had to go off injured, and Katrumbis has come on, so a straight like-for-like swap at right back there.
Right, in terms of the game, fairly even at the moment. Just that, one half chance for Grant Hanley a few minutes ago.
I mean, that wasn't even a chance. It was just a ball at the box, and he got his head on it. But yeah, it's been evenly balanced. They've both been pretty bright, but there's not been any real clear openings that either side have created just yet. Still 0-0.
Queen of the South 0, Kelty Hearts 1. Craig Johnson with the goal on 19 minutes. Let's then get to that game. The early change made by Davy Martindale through there. Amavale Livingston against Kilmarnock, the new management team in it. Kelly, what have you seen, Alan?
They certainly have the better of it. They've forced 2 or 3 corners, and as I say that, they're on the attack now. Tiffany's cutting into the box. He's going to drive it across. Good save. Oh, hits off. I think it's Anderson goes off. It's a shot from Tiffany. Prior knocks it out into the space, right, and it hits Anderson, just goes wide. The flag's eventually gone up, but that was a decent effort. Kilmarnock have been the better side after an initial couple of minutes where Livingston were on top. They forced a few corners, but that's really been about the first chance of the game. Still 0-0.
Let's get to the game at the Smythe. St Mirren against Falkirk. There was that big chance for Falkirk just a few minutes ago, Rory.
Yeah, it's probably a stretch to say it was a big chance. It just clipped the bar for a half a second. I thought it was going to look over the goalkeeper. St Mirren's starting to come into it ever so slightly. Just that balance in midfield at the moment with Donnelly being in there and Taylor. They're used to either O'Hara and Gogic, and they're committing a little bit too much to the offensive side at times, and it's leaving Falkirk opportunities. St Mirren in the last 5 minutes have grown into the game, but not a lot to speak of at all, and it's still 0-0.
2 games in the championship.
Yes. Celtic Park.
Right, Ian.
That was Maeda, got across his marker really well. Again, Kieran Tierney getting to the line.
Oh my days, look at this at St Mirren Park, Andy. That is a straight red if ever I've seen one.
Right, here we go.
I don't know if he slips. He must have slipped.
Yeah, he does.
He must have.
Certainly on first viewing it looks as if he slips, but you've got to say fairly wipes.
So it's a yellow card.
It's Ndalundu on. Sorry, that's just trying to press him. I think he does just lose his foot, and I think he's lucky actually when he loses his foot, and that his leg seems to be relatively planted.
Oh! This time he's close. He gets ahead of the back post.
Can you imagine?
Mikey's desperate for that script.
Well, I'm just trying to defuse the hand grenade you threw at me earlier on. There was a really good deep cross into the box from Dan Barlasser. Hanley was up at the back post. He got his head onto it, but he just missed the target. It drifted past the post.
I'm not watching that back.
I'm not sure he does slip.
No, well, just watching the chance back with Hanley there, I think Bowie, and I'm not sure who else it was in the 6-yard box, would be disappointed they never gambled a little bit more, because it actually comes across a good area where they can really attack it and try to tap it into the back post. But certainly, thankfully for me, they never.
Indaloo, I don't think he slipped there. I think he's come charging in.
Do you think helps him out, Tom,
I don't think
his reaction is to get up and kind of almost acknowledge he slipped.
Correct.
He played it blinder, didn't he? Apologising, shaking hands with Scott Bain.
I think he had plenty to apologise for. Meanwhile, Celtic just update Celtic's dominance, 89% possession.
Wow. You can't survive with that. I mean, at some point, you'd think they'll find a breakthrough. 4-0, Stranraer 1.
What's their XG though. We need to know that, no?
I have not got a clue what their XG is.
Ian,
Don't
come
start
on.
this nonsense.
Tell us the XG, Ian. Come on.
XG I think it's 4.3.
No, I don't think you get the XG, Ian.
I just made that up.
4-0 Stranraer, 1 Finn Ecclepoint with a goal in 21 minutes. 2 games in the Championship today. Let's get to Somerset Park. A United against Airdrie. Let's hear from Chick Young.
Yeah, still can't offer you a goal, Kenny. But there was that chance that I described a little bit a time ago with Ben Dempsey through 1-1 with the goalkeeper of Ayr United that was dealt with capably by the goalkeeper Harry Stone. Of course, as I said, we used to play here as something to prove. I think this afternoon Airdrie have got themselves a little bit more into it, a little bit more possession of the football, knocking about quite well, just trying to create an opportunity here. In fact, they have. Oh no, they've just blown it again. No, I'm hanging on in there. I'm trying to get you a goal. I know I'm always very confident in that matter, but it's blank at the moment.
Yeah, not many doing the rounds today.
Hello.
Yeah. Oh,
Dundee United. Ian.
Yeah, listen, it's not an easy chance round the back post. It's a great ball into the box. So, I mean, literally, guy, that's the first time Dundee United have been up the park, and there's nearly 23 minutes gone. Another great ball just flashed across the Celtic there.
Big chance.
Jordan Abita, it was a corner kick. It was ricocheting around in the box, and then the left wing back, he swings his right boot at it and shanks it over the crossbar.
Right, let's get to the game at Starts Park. Raith Rovers against Arbroath. Any big chances here, Stephen Craigan?
I think the big chance came just after the game kicked off, Ken. It was Jack Hamilton, a really good counter-attack from Raith Rovers. Ewan Wilson, who's unknown from Motherwell, actually burst down the left-hand side, fizzed the ball into the box. Jack Hamilton got across Aaron Muirhead, couldn't keep it on target, put over the crossbar. But you can see why Arbroath have probably been successful in the league, that they're really congested as a team. They don't leave space for them to be able to play through or play over the top off. They're forcing Raith Rovers into hitting long, hopeful balls over the top. They're managing the game well. They haven't really carried a threat, so Dougie Emery's getting a little bit frustrated because his players are giving the ball away too easily and allowing Arbroath just to be comfortable without the ball. So it's an entertaining game, I have to say. It's nice to see two sides trying to play against each other, evenly matched. But I'm just interested, when Calvin Ford was on and Tom asked him his first question, he said, "Hello, Tommy."
He did.
I've never really known Tom as a Tommy.
There's
Tommy
one other calls him that, and he's on the programme today.
Yes.
Yes, and he's at Celtic Park.
A lot of people have got different names
Here's
for Tom.
Yuan. Oh, he's still in. No. No, I tell you, Lungolo does absolutely brilliant. He tracks the run, he gets himself in and makes sure the striker can't get a clean shot away. And then it came back to him, and again, still just too much pressure. Motherwell able to clear their lines.
Yeah, Ian McCall calls you Tommy as well, and I don't see you as a Tommy.
Oh, he's a Tommy.
What makes me a Tommy as opposed to a Tom?
Well, is that not
or a Tam even?
No, a Tommy's a kind of...
No, not a
I'm
Tam.
definitely not a Tam, right?
A Tommy's your kind of low IQ Irish person, and that's why it's Tommy.
Okay, fair enough. I accept that. I'll start calling myself Tommy from now on then.
Brilliant.
Talk about Tam, Livingston's new striker for Estonia, Alex Tam. He's definitely for Bishop Briggs or something. No, that's Estonia.
Right, 25 minutes or so play. Celtic 0, Dundee United 0, Hibs 0, Motherwell 0, Livingston 0, Kilmarnock 0, St Mirren 0, Falkirk 0. 2 games survived the weather in the Championship today. Ayr United 0, Airdrie 0, Raith Rovers 0, Arbroath 0. In League 1, 3 games. Cove Rangers 0, Inverness Cally Thistle 0, Queen of the South 0, Kelty Hearts 1, Stennismuir 0, East Fife 0. And in League 2, just the 2 games today, 3 postponed because of the weather. Edinburgh City 0, Stirling Albion 0, and Forfar 0, Stranraer 1. That's you right up to date with all the latest scores. Let's talk a bit about transfers.
Problems for the midfield of St Mirren and Stephen Robertson. Liam Donnelly's had to come off injured. It's already a bit of a makeshift one. They've got Alan Campbell on the bench today, actually newly signed Alan Campbell, but he's opted to put Jaden Richardson in and move Conor McMenamin in the pitch. So it's still 0-0 here, but early substitution.
Right, let's talk a bit about transfers. Alan, it's a business you're heavily involved in. Do you think when we are criticising, for example, let's say Celtic at the moment, it's taken them so long to get a striker, are we just underplaying what's involved in the transfer process, do you think?
Completely.
Right.
Absolutely. It's
Come on, biscuits.
It's a year, Alan.
Listen,
a year ago.
Michael.
I mean, honestly.
Listen, you don't know what you're talking about some of the time.
Goal, surely, goal, is it?
Goal at Celtic Park, and it's for Celtic. It's Yang. I mean, listen to it. The Dundee United 11 players in the box again. It's come out to Yang on the right-hand side of the box. Instead of playing another pass, he just put his foot through it. Goal, he's got no chance. Arrowed into the left-hand corner. So Celtic take the league. It's deserved. It's been a tough watch at times. Celtic 1, Dundee United 0.
Yeah, Martin O'Neill just sitting back down on the bench there. So the early breakthrough at Celtic Park. Andy, just watch a replay of this one. Just talk us through it.
Yeah, it's well worked from Celtic. On the left-hand side, they come back to the edge of the box, and it's worked to Yang, and you can see the amount of bodies in front of him. I think actually outside.
Penalty.
Right, penalty. First of all, there's a goal. Stephen Kagan.
We've got a goal at Starks Park, and it's gone to the visitors. Arbroath. Excellent cross down the left-hand side by Jack Wilkie. It's one of the few times they've been up the pitch. Dabo Mburi actually jumps over the ball. Gavin Riley takes a touch on the penalty spot. He's able to compose himself and just fires it past Josh Ray. And I have to say, a little bit unexpectedly, because Wraith have probably been the better team. It's 1-0 to Arbroath.
Check Young, you have a penalty.
Another yellow card.
Yeah, it's like penalty for Ayr United, actually. Stonewall penalty. Jimmy Murphy's got the ball in his hand. It was Anton Dowds who was clean through, tugged out, clearly tugged. It was before the referee was pointing the spot. I could see it was a penalty kick, shouting it. It's been given. Dowds brought down penalty kick. Jimmy Murphy to take it, to give Ayr United the lead against Ayr at Somerset Park. He steps back, he will be right-footed. Medium-sized run up, here he comes, little hesitation, goal! Goal for Jamie Murphy, goal for Ayr United. It is Ayr United 1, Ayr 0.
And Kenny, we've got a red card for Alan Preston, saying it's quite acceptable to take a year to sign a striker.
I never said it was quite acceptable, Michael. What I said was, if you know what you're talking about, which you clearly don't, because that's
Here we go.
your
Shots fired. Fire away, Alan.
Well, Kenny, when you try, the biggest commodity in world football is a striker. Everybody's after him. You think everyone's going to just sit back and let Celtic have their pick? You've also got, if you're buying someone, the value for the club might say, no, I'm not having that, it's not enough, it's just maybe the case. Celtic might also have a value on the player, but they think they can't go anymore or they're getting ripped off. The player just might not even fancy it, and that's what's been happening over the period at Celtic. People might think, oh, it's Glasgow Celtic, massive football club, it's coming to Scottish football. Players will not commit to come for 4 or 5 years. Everyone is after strikers. It's like buying a house. You may get outbid. The seller might have to get someone in before they can get someone out.
Great
so
chance
many...
for Dundee United there.
Oh,
Yeah,
Ewan with a header. It was straight at the keeper, though. Still 0-0.
Big chance.
It was Sturton really, really poor defending. It was, you're right, Tom. It was Scales and Sturton through 1-on-1. He was a bit indecisive. I think he's got to score. I don't know what it looks like in the studio, but
Here we are now.
I think he's got to score.
It's too slow, wasn't it? Get the shot away.
Scales it very well there.
I think he gets that touch caught under his foot, and after
First
that
time.
he goes to the dink. But you've got to say it's tremendous defender for Liam Scales.
Yeah, first time they've been out of park.
Yeah, it's a corner there at Celtic Park. We'll go back to Ian. That was a big chance for you, Michael.
Yeah, it was a cross into the box from the left-hand side again. Ewan got up really well, but he didn't get any real power in the header, and it got it down low, but it was straight at the goalkeeper, Callum Ward. Just to touch on what Alan said, look, I think we're all fully aware of that, but to try to say that it is understandable and acceptable for Celtic to take...
I said it's difficult, Michael. It's difficult to get players in.
But Kenny's question was, are we underplaying, and is it understandable why Celtic take a year to sign a striker?
To get players in. It's not as easy as you think.
Can I just throw one at you? Lawrence Shankland was a free transfer.
Yeah.
They never even tried to sign him. You don't think he'd be better than what Celtic have?
They clearly didn't think so.
Well, there you go. So then it comes down
to
to decision making as well, which is why they've been criticised.
Celtic will get criticised whatever they do. Every club does, because fans aren't happy with the signings that are coming in, or the lack of signings that are coming in. But what I was asked was, is it difficult to get players in? And it is difficult to get players in. Centre forwards especially. Goalies, left backs, midfield players, 10 a penny. Centre forwards that scored goals, win your leagues, win your cups. Very, very difficult. Transfer. Exactly, but they didn't fancy him clearly.
Yeah, so then that's why they're getting criticised, because it's not just about going and signing somebody for 10 million, it's the decision making of the recruitment. It was poor. And
that wasn't the question, Michael. The question was, how hard is it to go and sign players? Hold on.
He was a free transfer.
I think Michael's suggesting they're making it harder than they need to, Alan.
You have to ask Celtic that question then, Kenny.
Well, he's asking you.
What, am I work for Celtic, Michael?
Nobody's asking your opinion. You work in the industry.
I've given you my opinion. I've told you it's not easy. It's not easy to sign players. There's a lot of moving parts.
Can I, instead of speculate, can I just give you some things that might well be happening? Sturm Graz midfielder Touchy.
Goal at Celtic Park.
Oh, here we go.
Right, Ian McCall. Yes, it's 2-0 to Celtic.
They didn't need a striker.
It's Engels. Well, it's Engels as well. A really good kind of late run into the box. Gets up across the near post. I think it might have been Tierney again that got it back. He got on to across the near post, flicked into the left-hand corner. comfortable finish and a really good finish. Celtic 2 to the United 0.
Just to go back to that, yeah, Rangers expected to announce Sturm Graz midfielder Tochu Chukwuani is going to be joining them, but they'll probably announce that before the game tomorrow against Aberdeen. Petodry Tur Romans, the Belgian left back, is expected to join Rangers later in the week, and also sometime early next week Jim Gillespie will probably be named their new chief executive as well. He's currently vice chairman of St Mirren.
A lot of change.
Michael, why would Rangers not go for Lawrence Shanklin?
Sorry?
Why would Rangers not go for Lawrence Shanklin then?
Well, I think we've spoken about that a million
Well,
times.
that's what I'm saying.
Ludicrous.
I'm saying it's about the people in the football club.
Well,
They clearly didn't fancy him either.
But that's self-evident, isn't it? And that's why they've been criticised for it. The point is, it's been spoken about endlessly that Celtic's recruitment, taking a year to sign a striker, is not good enough. And there is no explanation. There is no way you can explain it to make it out as if it's more difficult. Celtic specifically, which is what we were talking about, did not recruit well enough. That's simple.
I think, Michael, I think it's two. I've got to say, I think it's two different points. I think what you said there is quite obviously true. You know, and I think Alan was asked, is there more to the process of signing footballers than we talk about and the guys in the studio who haven't been involved in football? The answer to that question is yes. But have Celtic... well, it is. I mean, I'm just being honest.
He's right.
And listen, I've got to say, while I'm on, it's an Irish one. How Trusty played ahead of Liam Scales during the Nancy times, I have no idea. I think Scales is a much more accomplished defender.
Right, come back to you, and Alan Preston.
I think Anderson's got to score. It's a brilliant ball over the top from Jack Thompson to Tiffany. He whips it across. Anderson makes a run to the front post, knocks it wide. What a chance!
I think on the Celtic one, I think Alan and Michael are both a bit right.
Right.
It is hard, but Celtic have made it look extremely hard, and it's a year. It's a year. I'm not saying it's easy, but in a year you'd expect to have their ducks in a row, and they haven't.
I think especially when you look at the targets they tried to get and never. When you look at Kritzgarden last January, where they tried to go, they were haggling over £1 million or so, didn't get him. Casper Dolberg for the last week of the window, and I said last week because it took that long in the summer to actually try and target a striker. Don't get that over the line. And then it all looked a little bit amateurish in the sense that they get Kelechi Iheanacho in a free transfer so late into the summer when it was so glaringly obvious. And
that was just because of Brendan Rodgers. That's nothing to do with a Celtic scouting system or their recruitment. That's just Brendan Rodgers picking up the phone and saying,
after the window was closed,
give us a dig out here, you know.
Yeah. After the window's closed, and Kelechi Iheanacho is never going to play 45 games a season because he's never done it. He was a very, very good player. Is a good player, but he's somebody there to supplement what you've got. And you know the thing about Celtic, I think you guys were talking about this before with regards to Kyogo. Where were the guys that they were needing? They had Rangers on the 3rd of January. They've been needing a striker for over a year.
Yes.
Why did they not have? Where was the options that Tisdale had when Nancy was still in the building for the 1st of January? Hearts needed a right back. They had a right back lined up on the 1st of January. Altena was signed. Celtic for a year needed a striker. Where was the striker? Lined up for the 1st of January. We're 10 days in and it's talking about, the replacement for the guy we sold is the guy we sold.
Paisley, but it's miles offside. Sorry, Mike.
Just 1 second, Michael. I mean, Ian, that looks a pretty nasty challenge at Celtic Park.
Yeah, it's right in front. Listen, it was, but I think it was a wee bit worse than... sorry, it's not as bad as it looks. He's taken a sore one. But when the referee, ran straight to the incident, you're expecting him, because he does it so quickly. I think Jim Goodwin was expecting him to bring out the red card. There was a potential penalty a minute earlier as well for Celtic. We thought it might have been handball. That might get looked at to see if it's a potential red. It was a wee bit late, but there was no malice in it.
And even if we look at it,
yeah, it looks. I mean, the first incident looks really, really late, and when you see it back, it is. The studs are shown, but he doesn't actually catch Will Ferry. So I think he's actually lucky in that sense. I think the yellow card is a correct decision.
Stennismuir 1, East Fife 0. Ross Taylor with that goal on 34 minutes. We'll pick up the transfer chat in a minute. We're on the telly at 4 o'clock. But just back to the game that Michael's at, Andy, through the Easter Road. Hibs seem to be in control of the game right now, setting the better chances. What will the manager be thinking about? Will he be looking at a change, you think, at this moment?
Yeah, well, it certainly looks as if it's both sides have had plenty of control. I think it certainly looks as if Hibs have had the majority of the goal mouth action. Again, if he feels that it's working in terms of nullifying Hibs, I think he'll keep it how it is, but certainly looking for us to do a lot more in possession and create more chances. But listen, I'm talking about a tinker here. There's no doubt there'll be some sort of change in mind, so we'll see how that goes over the next.
Ian, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Dundee United have been timid right from the get-go, everyone behind the ball. Do you think if Wilfred Nancy was still the manager that they'd be this timid, this passive, almost kind of scared of Celtic?
I genuinely don't know, because I think the weakness of the Wilfred Nancy era was quite obviously in transition when they lost the ball defending. They just didn't get people back any good areas to defend the goal.
Oh, he's done brilliantly, but it's a huge save from Salinger. It breaks up the other end, and now Bowie and Johan are going through. Oh no, Bowie's just taking too many touches. He's still got the ball. And it's now turned over back to Motherwell, but the pace, the electric pace from Masmanise, bursting in behind the Hibs defence, then going to shoot, and I think it was Iredale dives in, he cuts back inside, had a left foot strike, but it was fairly comfortably saved from Raphael Salinger.
Yeah, chance.
Loal with an effort, 30 yards out, right foot's headed out, decent clearance. First touch to control, second touch, shot just wide of the target. First real chance for Livingston.
Mikey, you've mentioned Eli Yuan a few times today. Why is it he appears for 2-3 games a season and is able to produce some good stuff, and then his form just plummets? Do you think so?
No, he's not left.
I don't.
He's
I mean,
it can't be that, surely. But
David,
we've been quite critical of him. But in certain moments, in certain points of the season, he looks like at times he does things that not many players in the league can do. But then he just falls off the face of the earth.
I've no idea. I mean, you know my thoughts. I wouldn't play him. But
so you wouldn't give him another deal then, Michael? Because he's up, I think, in the summer, isn't he?
There's no chance. I wouldn't give him another deal. No, not at all. I mean, how long has he been here? Coming on 3 years.
3 years.
I mean, what? No chance. No for me.
Michael, you might be quite accurate with the transfer window thing. I'm serious. We had Charlie Miller, and see, 4 months before the end of his contract, best midfielder in Scotland.
See if you had that, exactly. See if you had an 11 collie that are on the last year, you'd win the league.
Absolutely.
Right, just in terms of Masmanise,
he's brilliant there. I mean,
great play, wasn't it?
He was
great,
absolutely
electric.
Tremendous.
What's he like, Andy? He's raw as a player. What's he like as a player, as a lad?
Great lad, great guy. Extremely sharp, as you can see there. Not too dissimilar to the goal we actually scored for Zimbabwe a couple of weeks ago at the African Cup of Nations.
That was a hell of a goal, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, for someone that's predominantly played in the right-hand side, I think it's 14 goals in all competitions, second top goal scorer in the league, so doing ever so well. Played as that sort of main striker over the last sort of couple of games since he's came back, and I think he's always a threat. I think what's vastly improved for me with JT this season has actually been his output off the ball. I think a lot of that is down to the demands that's put on him from the manager.
Is he good enough for Celtic?
Oh, I hope not. Quite happy with it, Motherwell.
I think he's better than anything they have in those positions.
He's
right
great
now.
to watch. That pace, he's just great to watch, and quite unpredictable, I think, which is quite good to watch as a fan.
The only thing it's interesting you talk about number 9s.
Yeah.
You know, the only out number 9 this season to get double figures. It's just to talk about Michael's point and Alan's point. There's Lawrence Shanklin.
Yeah.
You know, other than centre forwards, Bowie, I think he's got 6. I can't think who else, but I know Masmanise plays off the wide. He scored a couple of goals from centre forward, but is that a dying breed? That centre forward who gets goals and guarantees you goals. Do managers want more? Want somebody who can run the channels, who can hold up, who can link it up? What about just a guy who puts the ball in the back of the net, probably keep you in the job and make you more successful? Shanklin ticks all the boxes.
Listen, he's been a success for many, many years now, hasn't he? He's a fantastic player.
Yeah.
Clever as well.
I think that Kenny, there's a snobbery involved with that one, a bit like Lewis Ferguson going away, not going to Rangers, a bit like John McGinn not coming here. You know, there's 2 or 3 others, Aaron Hickey. I think there's a snobbery about in Scotland with Celtic and Rangers with homegrown players of that level.
How much be a goal?
You're not telling me.
That's a goal.
Right.
Check.
Oh, what a scramble in the back of the net. Airdrie equalised. It was all over the place inside the 6-yard box. It was a fabulous save from Bree Russell. There was a block. There's a claim for a penalty. But the ball has been knocked over the line. Airdrie equalised. I'll identify the scorer in a minute, but it is Ayr 1, Airdrie 1.
Collie, there's so many moving pieces. It's difficult to do those deals domestically, I think.
Yeah, I don't think the one in the summer would have been difficult. In fact, I know it wouldn't have been difficult.
I think that's sarcasm from Michael.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of sarcasm there.
I think
you pick up on that, Alan?
I never got that. Sorry.
I think from what I hear, I think Rangers from maybe next summer are going to take a lot closer look at the domestic players. than they have previously. That's what I'm
Yeah, but
hearing.
is that a soundbite, Tom, or is that real? I mean, I don't know.
We'll see. We'll see, Ian, if they can back that up. But that's certainly the clear message that I'm hearing.
But they have taken domestic players.
Cole McKinnon, the goal scorer.
Thanks, Chick.
They're also 6 months too late. Oh, they had the opportunity to get Longshank on a free transfer.
Oh,
They
yeah,
had the opportunity to go for.
that was a no-brainer, but they
have taken domestic
messed it
players,
up.
Tom.
For me, Josh Mulligan's another one. I
Yeah,
think Josh Mulligan's a tremendous prospect, and I think he's getting the plaudits he deserves at Hibs. I think he's been excellent so far this season. And listen, I think you could talk all day about the indecision to go for a Longshank in between Rangers and Celtic, because there's no doubt whatsoever he's the best number 9 in the country.
They've gone for Lyle Cameron, and it looks like he's going to have to go out on loan, and that's certainly the talk, isn't it?
Yeah. No, they have. Listen, they have, but I just think they're going to take a lot close. There's some very good players outside of the old firm in this league. And some, and a good few of them are teammates of the man sitting to my left.
A left centre back, Tom, left centre back playing with Dundee. He should go. I'm saying by the end of the season, in the next window.
Where to? Where would you see him going?
I think he's good enough for Celtic Rangers. I'm
Really?
not saying he'll play straight away. I think there's development there to make him good enough to play at that level.
Right, let's just round up the scores for you as we approach half-time. So at last, some goals going in. Celtic 2, Dundee United 0, Hibs 0, Motherwell 0, Livingston 0, Kilmarnock 0, St Mirren 0, Falkirk 0. Actually, let's just stick with that game, Rory. What's happening there in Paisley?
It's been devoid of any real quality, I have to say, Kenny. St Mirren have come into the game and they've had a few chances. Lundulu's had one which Bain has saved, Mandaron the same, Calvin Miller had one up the other end, but Falkirk, especially in the final third, they've moved the ball up the third as well, but when it's got to the final one, a really, really careless passing. Barney Short plucked one out the air, quite sensational touch, and then passed it straight to a St Mirren player, and that kind of sums up Falkirk's half. St Mirren, whilst they've been better in the last kind of 5-10 minutes, have lacked quality as well at times. They did score, but it was ruled out for being about 15 yards offside from Lundulu. So it's not been a pretty game to watch, and that's the reason it's still 0-0.
Ayr United 1, Airdrie 1, Wraith Rovers 0, Arbroath 1. Just the 2 games in the Championship this afternoon. 3 in League 1. Cove Rangers 0, Inverness Cally Thistle 0, Cooney of the South 0, Kelty Hearts 1, Stennismuir 2, East Fife 0. And in League 2, 2 games survived the weather. Edinburgh City 1, Stirling Albion 0, and Forfar Athletic 1, Stranraer 1. So just approaching the half-times here. Andy, any decent transfer stories you've been involved in? Things that have fallen through at the last minute, or things you hoped to happen, didn't happen? Or?
Yeah, well, when I left Rangers, it was obviously COVID time. I had the opportunity to go to Minnesota in the MLS, which I was quite excited about, because I love rides, I love theme parks, and they were staying at Disney World for 2 weeks at a time. So I was quite excited for that point alone. But unfortunately, I couldn't get an international visa at the time, so that fell through. I had to bin my Mickey Mouse hat that I'd already bought, and then ended up at Hearts. And I really enjoyed my time at Hearts. It's a great football club. But
Second goal!
Yes, Stephen.
Second goal in the game, and it's gone to Arbroath again.
What a season you're having.
For Livingston!
Right, huge goal, Alan Preston.
It's McLaren. It's a break down the left-hand side. It's Macaulay taking the ball across. Eventually comes to McLaren, and he knocks it into the back of the net. Livingston 1, Kilmarnock 0.
Right, huge goal there. Also a big goal.
Back pole.
Chance, Michael Stewart, chance, Easter Road.
It's a save. Ward sticks it behind for a corner, but it was Johan that was running through, and all the defence was just parting away. I thought he was going to run right through the middle. Eventually got to the bile, and he dinked it to the back post. The Megwa was there, he got a touch on it. I don't know whether he was shooting or trying to play it across the face of the goal, but whatever it was, Callum Ward's able to get a touch on it and put it behind for a corner. Still 0-0.
And 2 goals to the wayside through there at Starts Park. Stephen Craigan.
Listen, and for long spells of the early stages, Wraith Rovers were the better side, but it comes from Damo and Buri. It starts on the left-hand side, round out, crossfield pass out to Scott Stewart. He fizzes a shot in from the edge of the box, right-hand edge of the box. Josh Ray makes a good save. Defenders don't react, and Buri just heads the ball into an empty net. That's the half-time whistle just gone, but I can tell you, Dougie Emery has got his work cut out. This both sides are making great strides.
Half-time at Livingston 1-0.
Yeah,
we're missing a trick here, Livy. We should have
here as well, Kenny.
We should have a Calvin Ford cam.
Oh, that would be great, wouldn't it?
Get them to do the team talk, so it'll be absolutely ecstatic right on the cusp of half-time.
Half-time at Celtic Park, 2-0 for the home side.
Yeah, total domination.
Tommy along for a wee team time.
Aye, old Tommy, he stuck a wee French up there, I think. He's clearly heard of you.
I'm happy for Calvin at the moment. Wow,
that's a huge goal, isn't it?
It's a huge goal. It was a huge interview at pre-match. I've never spoken to him before, but wow, his enthusiasm for a man whose team haven't won in about 2 years is incredible.
And he's all in Davy Martindale, isn't he?
He's all in, and listen, he's having a big day so far. That is such a huge game there, isn't it? 1-0. Our former colleagues not having a great time in their first game of Killie.
It's came at a brilliant time for them as well. It's a half-time whistle blown. Like he says, 18 winless runs. They haven't won a game since that home game against Falkirk at the start of the season. It looked by all accounts that Kilmarnock had the better of the chances so far, but Macaulay Tate does great on the left-hand side, drives the ball across the box, and Conor McLennan with the finish.
I mean, Celtic are home and hose. It's 2-0 now. They're not giving that up. I know their second half performances recently have been terrible, but that was under the old manager. This is a done deal. I'm so disappointed in Dundee United. They haven't had anything about them at all.
Just the approach, Tom.
Their approach right from the start.
Paisley, St Mirren 0, Falkirk 0.
The only start they got a chance or two, but only when they were 1 and 2-0 down. But from the start, it was like the white flag was up.
Yeah, you have to say it is disappointing. I said this a few times in the programme. I think they're a very hard side to predict. Dundee United. Watch the game. Was it just during the festive period? They battered Livingston. They were great that day. But last week Ian was saying that in the Derby match, second best, and just really poor today. I think you're still playing through the Easter Road, Michael.
Yeah, it's the last couple of seconds before half-time. Motherwell are up and around the edge of Hibs' box, but the game's just a little bit static at the moment. Hibs camped in, and Motherwell just try to unlock the defence in the last moments of the half here.
Yeah, we'll just wait for the half-time whistle to go there, then we'll get around the grounds for you. We're on telly earlier today, BBC One Scotland, 4 o'clock.
That's half-time, Kenny, 0-0.
Thanks, Michael. Right through until 5:10. Of course, the conversation continues right here on BBC Radio Scotland from 5:30 to 7 o'clock. Fans of various clubs will join us. Reaction from them, the pundits, and we'll hear from plenty managers as well. You're listening to Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland.
Scottish football lives here.
This is Sports Sound.
That is a beautiful finish!
From BBC Radio Scotland.
Right, let's take you on a journey around the grounds and get the half-time reports. Let's start with our commentary match at Celtic Park. Celtic 2, Dundee United 0. Pat Bonner is there for us alongside Ian McCall. Just like he was in his second time round, I say, a few weeks ago, Pat, when he was there. He's just doing the right. It seems obvious, doesn't it? But he's just doing the right thing. Just playing players where they feel comfortable.
Yeah, it's an amazing. It's not science. It's just really about just being practical and being almost clever. Because every single time when they get forward in the wide areas now, they've got almost like a 2v1 situation, and that's where all the damage has been done. They're keeping control of the ball. They're able to move it. But then when they get into those positions, especially down the left hand side early on, they were able to penetrate, and then those create half chances and so on. And Dundee United just couldn't get up the pitch. And in saying that, Dundee United then had a huge chance when Trusty played a square ball, give the ball away, and really the young lad Stritton, who's just come into the team, he's got to probably do a bit better. Ball got stuck under his foot, and he was closed down, and then he had another great chance later on, and that goal could have maybe brought Dundee United back into it, but it would be a travesty really, because Celtic have dominated the game, and they've just, I don't know what the possession stats is, I haven't seen them yet, but they've got the goals, which is a critical factor, and that's what was missing, Kenny, from the games under Wilfred Nancy. And if those goals had to go on, I don't know whether there's a calmness about them today more. They're keeping the ball, passing it well. Under Nancy, it was almost frenetic. It was just creating chance, and missing them, and it was getting worse and worse as the game was going on. But today, much more control, and now they've got a 2-goal lead, so they're in a really, really good position to win this game. Dundee and I will have to do something. Jim will have to do something at half-time. I think he has to change maybe back to a back four and try to maybe get a wee bit stronger in the middle of the pitch, because they're just being dominated at the moment.
Yeah, Pat, it's an interesting one. You're obviously in commentary due to Ian's being on open mics for us. We'll get to Ian in just a minute from a Dundee United perspective, but Ian was saying he can't understand when he watches that first half there, and particularly one vital block that Liam Scales had there. He said he can't believe that this guy's been out the side.
Yes, listen, but the position he's playing today is where he's comfortable, left centre back. You know, he'll defend from that point of view, of course, but he's now, the play is in front of him. He's able to get the ball. He's able to hit that nice little side pass off his second touch to either Konechny or to Tierney, who's on his left-hand side. So he's very, very comfortable in the position. Even when he's high up the pitch, he's playing almost at an inside left position. You know, and he knows that he can recover from there. When he was under Trusty, Nancy. Sorry, my fault. He was almost playing as a winger at times, and he had probably maybe a 30-40 yard sort of run to get back into position, and it just didn't suit him whatsoever. So he is one of many. Tierney also playing left back suits him rather than coming from a left centre back. For me, he's far better, you know, at his age now, and maybe he's able to do maybe 20-30 yard runs rather than doing 40 yard runs, and all that changes. Yang's over on the right hand side. The only one through the middle is Maeda, but he doesn't have to do much today, just make his little runs, and he doesn't have to hold the ball up too much, because Celtic are just dominating the ball and they're working it from side to side. He had that chance that he ran across the near post and they clipped it off the crossbar, so he's comfortable enough today, but he's not. That's the position we talked about before the game, and after the rest of it isn't too bad. I'll tell you, at this moment in time, Aurora is coming into the team, looks quite dynamic player, and so on. He hasn't been tested defensively too much, but looks a player that could fit into a Celtic team.
And Pat, Ian McCall constantly reminds me that I never played, so I should basically pipe down. But I'm going to offer a very dangerous opinion here, Pat.
Okay,
Let's see if you agree with me. That none of what Martin O'Neill has done today is rocket science. He hasn't reinvented the wheel here. This is the changes he's made are pretty basic, and everyone could see them, even me.
Yeah, and that's what we talked about when Wilfred Nancy was in position. Why on earth do you come in and change it? Just let it go. Make the little alterations to the way that maybe you want to play the game, but let it flow from playing a 4-3-3 or a 4-4-2 or a 4-4-1-1, whatever way you want to do it, but keep that back four intact. And then even Schmeichel looks much more comfortable today, especially with the ball with his feet.
Everybody looks happy.
I think as well, Ian touched on it earlier. I think, you know, under Wilfred Nancy, Celtic had this period of pressure and possession at times in games, but such was the setup, or lack of setup behind the ball, that they always gave up counter-attacking scenarios. We actually look at it now, and you've got Callum McGregor predominantly sitting, you've got the two centre-halves, you've got Araujo tucking in when the ball's on the left-hand side. The setup behind the ball is limiting Dundee United to get themselves up the pitch.
Well, Andy, when you have two centre-halves, when the play's in front of them, they're in the position they can recover. When they're making runs, remember the goal against Aberdeen?
Yep.
When the run the Scales made, when they thought they were going to win the ball in the middle of the pitch, he stepped out from a defensive position to run beyond the ball. Not with the ball, beyond the ball.
And I agree with Tom. I think outside Cameron Carter-Vickers, who's obviously injured at the minute, I think Liam Scales is Celtic's best centre-half. I think he's their best box defender. You know, with first contacts with balls coming into the box, you know, blocks, clearances, tackles. I found myself really surprised that he found his way to the team, probably because he had chalk in his boots and he was playing left wing for.
Andy, I'm glad you said it, because I've been saying this for a long time. I know the fans at times give him a little bit of stick, maybe because when he's on the ball and he has to drive into midfield and he hasn't got that maybe pass and the ball's then cut out and he's out of his position. But when he gets the ball out of his feet and just passes the ball simple, to a fullback or to a winger off a second touch, and then he does his defensive bit, which he's good at, and he's better in the air now than he was when he got into the team first. So yeah, I agree with you. So I'm glad you agree with me, Andy, and I agree with you.
It's almost, the whole Nancy thing is almost like a dream or a nightmare.
Yeah,
that this happened, you know.
Yeah. What I was meaning, was I think he looks better suited to play in the Wilfred Nancy system in the middle of the back three. I just think he looks like a better communicator and a better defender than Trusty. What about in and out the team?
My issue, Ian, on that is in the middle of the back three. He hasn't got a range of enough passes, if you know what I mean.
I know, but listen, if you're Celtic, well, I don't need to tell you about Celtic. There's a few players in front of you. If you just bang into them, they can play it all right.
Ian, we're about to split. We're about to go on to television shortly. But from a United perspective, Tom was saying in the studio here, very disappointed with their approach to this game today.
Yeah, as am I. I've got to say, and I mean, you sometimes go to Celtic Park or you go to Ibrox when they're flying, and this season maybe Motherwell and maybe Tynecastle, but you always have to have a threat, I think, to get out. I mean, I also went 4-3-3. They became 4-5-1 at times, and that's fine, but literally I was sitting beside Kerridine, and every single Dundee United player, this is an open play, and I'm not exaggerating, it was 20 yards from their own goal, just trying to shuttle about, and it looked like a matter of time. Celtic were moving them from side to side, trying to get decent balls in the box. Once they get their goal, I don't know what they're going to do now. I know Fata looks like he's coming on, but how are they going to change this to risk, to be really, really positive and risk getting an absolute doing, or do you just play the same way? But you can sit in, but you must have a threat, you must have an out to get yourself up the pitch, because you can't just keep inviting pressure for 45 minutes, for 90 minutes. You won't get through it here.
Right, let's find out how they do in the second half. Once again, a choice of listening on Sports Sound. For open all mic, stick with us on 92 to 95 FM and BBC Sounds. And for full commentary of Celtic against Dundee United, tune to BBC Radio Scotland Digital, 810 medium wave and extra on BBC Sounds. And both are live online, bbc.co.uk/Sports Scotland.
On your radio,
Online at BBC Sports Scotland
your smart speaker.
and BBC Sounds.
This is Sports Sound.
From BBC Radio Scotland.
Welcome back to Open the Mics on BBC Radio Scotland with me, Kenny McIntyre, Andy Halliday and Tom English alongside me in the studio. About 40 seconds or so before we hit the television, Tom, so we'll just keep this in the studio for now before we go around the grounds. Let's then just have a very brief look at that game from a Dundee United perspective. How on earth they get back into it?
Where in the country,
I don't know.
It's
going to need a much bigger
weather. Liam McLeod with Paddy Bonner with you.
Given they've I don't know, they've about 15% possession or something, less than 20% possession in the first half. A couple of attempts on goal, but only when Celtic were in charge of the game. I can see Celtic going on and making it 3 and 4 rather than Dundee United getting back in this match.
Yeah, it's very, very difficult to follow, that's for sure.
They've been Dundee United. I know it's a tough game, but they've come out trying to damage limitation exercise. That's what they've done, and they got what they deserved, which is 2-0 defeat, 2-0 loss at deficit at halftime.
Yeah, let's see if they can find themselves a way back in this. Let's see if they can find themselves a way back in this. The viewers have joined us on BBC One Scotland as ever in Scottish football. There is no shortage of drama. So many talking points today. There are some huge games right across the country. In the studio with me here, Andy Halliday and Tom English. Just having a wee chat there, Andy, about the game at Celtic Park. Celtic will get to the ground shortly. Celtic 2-0 up. Very much control. A long, long way back for United.
Yeah, I think so. We talked about it as a fear factor gone for playing against this Celtic side, but you've got to say after the first 5-10 minutes you felt as if it was only going to go one way. So Ian was talking there about all 11 Dundee United players being in and around their penalty box. I think the most disappointing thing for Jim Goodwin was they actually had all 11 behind the ball when Yang scores for 20 yards out, so they don't actually get any pressure on the ball for the amount of bodies that they have behind it. And such was the amount of bodies between Yang and the goal. You actually look, it doesn't really go in the corner, but I think Dave Richards is unsighted with the amount of players that's in front of him. So I think Jim Goodwin will be so disappointed there was no pressure on the ball and allowed Celtic to get that opening goal.
What do you make of Yang as a player? Do you like him?
Listen, I think he's been quite streaky in a Celtic jersey. I actually thought for the first sort of season or so, I thought his main contribution was always off the bench, and any time he got that starting berth didn't quite capture the same form as his substitute appearances. But listen, I think he's did well this season. I thought he was Celtic's best player last week in the Old Firm game, but he was playing in a right wing back slot, and even though he was the best player for Celtic on that day, you look at Chermitty's equaliser for Rangers, it comes from him not having that defensive instinct at the back post and allowing the tap-in for Chermitty. So he's back in his natural position and he gets the all-important first goal for Celtic.
I think his Celtic career was going nowhere until Martin O'Neill came back the first time. Kind of reinvented him, built him back up, started getting performances out of him. That he kind of carried on a little bit of that through Nancy, but today's been good. He's reminded you that he does have talent, which was kind of forgotten about previously. And so O'Neill has done a good job with Yang. Good job with a number of these Celtic players, actually.
Yeah, we'll get around the grounds just shortly, Tom. We're just looking at other games for the second half kick off this afternoon. Some really interesting scorelines. Let's get to that game at the bottom. We were joined in the first hour of Sports Sound by Calvin Ford, the chairman of the Living Livingston. If anyone missed that, it was an absolute joy. What a character. He will be loving his afternoon so far.
Extraordinary stuff from Calvin. His enthusiasm and his passion was amazing. I'd say he's the kind of guy who goes to a horror movie in the cinema and laugh his way through it. He's a glass half full guy, clearly. And today he's had a good 45 minutes. That is such a critical game at the bottom of the league. If Livingston win that, it's game on down there. If they lose it, obviously, they're in mortal danger. But they're 1-0 up and they're deserving of a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, it's a really sore one, isn't it, for the new management team. They heard from Neil McCann before the game. He's appointed alongside Billy Dodds, and right now it looks a real scrap between these two at the bottom of the table, Andy.
It does. We knew it was going to be a massive game going into it. It looked by all accounts that Kilmarnock edged the first half, but the goal comes at a massive time for Livingston. No, they're sitting in such a poor place at the moment, only 9 points, and the best thing you can possibly do when you're in that position is try and stay as close to the pack as you possibly can, and they have to get that first win somewhere. Like it says, 18 winless run they're on, a massive game coming into it, and like it says, the goal came at a great time for them, and if they can get the 3 points, I would love to get Calvin Ford back in the four if we can after the game. Start with some listen.
It was absolutely fantastic. You'd have to say that your side, of course, through at Easter Road this afternoon, Andy, we'll get to the ground just shortly. It's currently goal. It's not too many clear-cut chances in the game so far.
Yeah, and it's two good teams and both in good form going into the game, so you knew it would be it would be a close affair. I've got to say, it looks as if both teams have had elements of control within it. I think Hibs have probably had more of the goalmouth action. A lot of that coming through that athleticism we spoke about that they've got at the top of the show. But all to play for in the second half, and you've got to say two teams in a great position, and I think a win for either will be absolutely massive.
Right, let's try and then take a wee bounce around the grounds. Let's get to that game at Celtic Park then. Celtic 2, Dundee United 0. Ian McCall is there for us. What's happening in the start of the second half, Ian?
Well, it's much the same, but Dundee United have changed shape. They brought on Pata, and I'm just trying to identify who they brought off. It was certainly one of the centre backs. They've changed to 4-3-3 with Sturton and Satsford and Pata in the wide areas. They're trying to press Celtic a little bit higher. That may be a dangerous thing to do, but Celtic still in possession of the ball as we speak.
Yeah, Ian McCall's through there. We've got a few technical issues in the studio at the moment in terms of what we're hearing in there. Hopefully you can hear the reporters loud and clear. Let's then get to Easter Road, Hibs against Motherwell, and get the very latest from a reporter there, which is Michael Stewart.
Yeah, well, they're just back out for the start of the second half. The officials just making their way onto the park as well. It obviously was a eagerly anticipated match prior to the game, 4th versus 5th. But truth be told, the first half, although there was moments of quality, it lacked any real goalmouth action, and it was a bit of a damp squib when you contrast it with the expectations of the game. The second half just about to get underway. Still 0-0 obviously here at Easter Road, and hopefully there's a few goals in the second half.
Right, let's then get to that game at Ammanvale. As I said, we were joined live at the top of the programme by the Livy chairman Calvin Ford. What an interview he was. He was full of enthusiasm. He's right into this club, and he's certainly prepared to invest to get them out of this bother. And right now, Alan Preston, his team are doing the business on the park.
They are, yeah. After an opening 46 minutes where Kilmarnock were the better side, Tiffany had a shot well saved by Prior. Then Thompson to Tiffany, and his cross found Anderson in the near post, just knocked it wide. Llewellyn then had a shot for Livingston 30 yards after about 36 minutes, but the goal came in 46. Really good play on the left hand side by Macaulay Tate. His ball across found McLennan, and he whacked it into the back of the net. 1-0 at half time. Kilmarnock's record when they've been conceding an opening goal, 1-0, drawn 2, lost 10. They need to change it around. Davy Martindale's just been booked. Livingston 1, Kilmarnock 0.
Right, let's then get to the game at the Smyser Stadium in Paisley, St Mirren against Falkirk, and get the latest from Rory Loy.
Yes, indeed, we're underway in the second half. We'll keep the first half round up brief, mainly because very, very little happened, to be honest, Kenny. Falkirk did hit the bar. For half a second, I thought it was going to loop in. That was from Dylan Tate after a Barney Stewart cutback. Dulu went in hard. I think he slipped when he caught Scott Bain. Scott Bain seemed to accept the fact he slipped and the yellow card was given, and everybody seemed happy with that outcome. Mandaron had a shot saved by Bain a couple of times actually, with his legs down low, and up the other end Calvin Miller had the same. Out with that, very, very little happened in the first half, a real lack of quality. Alan Campbell and Scott Tanzer have come on in this second half, replacing Declan Johnson, Killian Phillips, who took a knock towards the end of the half, meaning that Gogic, O'Hara and Phillips, three pretty much mainstays when they're fit, all missing in this second half for one reason or another for St Mirren.
Thank you to Rory Lloyd. Just apologies, we're hearing in the studio right now, we've got commentary in one ear and the programme in the other, so hopefully you can hear everything okay when we're going around the grounds. We're struggling to hear the guys right now, but let's continue nonetheless. Ayr United are at home to Airdrie today. Let's hear from Chick Young down at Somerset Park.
I think I've got the same technical problems as you, Kenny, hearing Liam in the commentary as well. I think that's around the country at the moment. In any case, as far as this game is concerned, we are now 7 minutes into the second half. We started very sharpish, and it's much the same story. Remember, 1-1 at half-time. Jamie Murphy with a penalty, giving Ayr United the lead after McDonald had brought down McMahon. Cole McKinnon with equaliser just before half-time. 1-1 it was then, 1-1 it is now, and the pattern has maybe continued with Ayr United. Well, you know, I've said that Airdrie have gotten themselves into a wee bit more of the football. I'm sure there's a winner somewhere down the line this game, and I did say at the start of this game, Kenny, that the last 12 games between the clubs have all been victories for Ayr United. This is the 13th. A lot of ex-players from Ayr United in the Airdrie team. Who knows? It's got a little bit of sense of that about it at the moment. It is 1-1. We'll see what happens. I think we've cleared up the technical problem as well.
Thank goodness for that, yes. Liam's commentary is very good, but we're hearing the rest of the programme. It's not easy, so it's been affecting us all. Hopefully it's not affected the listeners and the viewers at home. So let's then get to the other game that survived the weather today in the Championship. That's at Starks Park. Wraith Rovers are home to Arbroath. There for us is Stephen Craigan.
Yeah, with 57 minutes gone, Kenny. It's a away side that lead by 2 goals to 0. They got the opening goal just before the half-hour mark. It was a cross on the left-hand side from Jack Wilkie, and there was Gavin Riley. Managed to take a touch on the penalty spot. Nobody anywhere near him. He just fizzed it past Josh Ray and goal. He got the second goal right on half-time. It was a cross, so it was a shot this time from the right-hand side. Scott Stewart had the strike. Josh Ray managed to palm it away from goal. Oh my goodness, it's just gone 2-1. So I was just going to say, it was Dabo and Burry that made it 2-0 right on half-time. But what an exceptional finish from Scott Brown, the captain of Wraith Rovers. He's had a shot from about 25 yards. It's nestled right into the top left-hand corner. It's their first shot on target in the game, and it's now alive. Dougie Emery was furious at half-time, certainly walking towards the tunnel with his players. It's now Wraith Rovers 1, Arbroath 2.
Yeah, they're right back in it. Great timing there from Stephen Craigan. So very much game on there at Starks Park. Let's then just a wee chat about the game at Celtic Park this afternoon, Tom. For those just joining us on television, you were saying earlier just how disappointed you've been with the approach from Dundee United this afternoon. They've offered so little.
Yeah, like even from I know they're 2-0 down, but from the first whistle, they looked on the back foot. They had everyone behind the ball. They looked like they were a team that's there to try and drag a point out of the game, and very little ambition. I know Martin O'Neill has come in and has replaced Wilfred Nancy, and probably Wilfred Nancy's team, they would have had attacked Wilfred Nancy's team, I suspect. But they've completely laid down here, and I think it's a really dismal performance from Dundee United. I know they're having a toughish time in the league, but I think they're better than this. And I really feel as if they've let themselves down badly today.
The thing is, Tom, up until the derby, they were unbeaten in 5.
Yeah.
Drew 3-1-2.
Drawn a lot of games, yeah.
It looks so comfortable for Celtic at the minute, and a lot's been said about how leaky they've been. 18 goals conceded in the last 8 games. It would take a brave man to predict the next goal going Dundee United's way, given what we've watched.
See if this was Celtic of a few weeks ago and they're 2-0 up, I'm still thinking
there's nervousness there.
The opposition still have a chance here. Today I'm thinking there's no chance.
I think as a player on the park, and if you're a United player today, it must be so difficult, so depressing almost, because you're just in the back foot the whole game.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've got to say, for the early parts, we're only within 5 minutes in. It looks as if they've took a slightly more aggressive approach and tried to get after Celtic, but I think a lot of the damage was done in the first half.
A great chance for Celtic. I mean, brilliant play down the right-hand side again, and it was Yang, terrific ball into the box. Maeda, you can look at it in the studio, get caught under his feet. I mean, if it's at first time and has good connection, it's a goal.
There's an early sub in the second half, and there's a chance for Bowie. Oh, he just gets caught under it slightly. Early sub in the second half here at Easter Road. Off is gone McGrath, and on has come Junior Hoylett. The game's swinging one way to the next. Motherwell now breaking forward. Just has it. He slipped it into Maswanise, edge of the box. Drops his shoulder. What a goal. What a goal.
Wow.
From Tamanda Maswanise. That's a brilliant counter-attack from one end to the other. It gets to Tawanda Maswanise on the edge of the box, inside right channel. He just drops the shoulder to go the outside and then fizzes it right across the face of the goal into the far corner. Salinger has no chance. 1-0 to Motherwell.
What a finish.
What a goal. He's on fire. That's 10 league goals for Maswanise at the minute. I don't know if Mikey agrees, but it seems as if that's kind of been the pattern of the game. It looks as if somebody's going to have a big chance, and within 5-10 seconds the other team's up the pitch creating another opportunity, and it's a fantastic counter-attack. Ibrahim Said does great to cut inside and find Elijah Just. He feeds Maswanise, and as soon as Maswanise stands you up, you're in trouble, and he just works on his right foot and arrows it into the far corner. What a goal.
And you were saying earlier on, Andy, there's so much, he's raw, but there's so much talent there, and also a great lad behind it. You think he could go quite far?
He is, and I think he's improved vastly this season. He's got an eye for a goal, as shown, and like I says, he's the type of player that gets bums off seats, as you say. And like I said, as soon as he gets you in that 1v1 situation, he's very, very difficult to handle. He's so good at coming inside, outside. He chooses to go on the outside onto his strong right foot. And like he says, he's still got a lot to do. It's a fantastic finish. He whips it across Salinger, and it just finds his way into the side net, and what a massive goal.
Andy, you say that he's improved a lot this season, but I mean, I used to see last season games he would play, and I used to think he is a real difference maker, but he didn't play all the time.
Yeah.
Now, what do you? I mean, you've obviously spoken about what you see as a difference this year, but why was that last year that he wasn't playing every week? What was it?
I think a big thing with Maswanise last year is I thought he would sometimes try and do too much himself. So I think this year I think he's added runs in behind into his game, a lot of movement off the ball to find himself into more promising positions to score goals. Whereas last year I thought he found himself, and potentially through instruction for a manager, that he found himself too wide all the time, wanting to receive it to feet too much and try and beat 2-3 players before he can try and affect football games. You actually watch him now, a lot of the stuff is so unselfish, whether it's playing on the shoulder, people run away to create space for others, which is probably why he's found himself playing in that number 9 role so much, because a lot of the stuff he's doing so well now is actually on that last line and affecting games and getting numbers.
In terms of that finish, like, he's got a fairly small target, right, to find, and he's just rifled it in there, without even thinking almost.
And do you know what, I'd love to see it back, because quite often you tell your striker, it's shift and shoot, try and get it out your feet as soon as possible, and try and hit the target. And quite often you'll get the defenders that overstretch, and you find it going through their legs, such as how quickly you've got your shot
it's
away.
A chance for Falkirk. 1-0.
Right, let's get to the Smythe Stadium.
Shamal George comes out. Calvin Miller runs in behind. Shamal George gets there first, and what an absolutely outstanding finish. And it's St Mirren now, Falkirk 1, and it's Finn Yates with the goal.
I don't know, listen, and that's right in front of, again, a huge travelling support there at the Smythe Stadium. We'll try and break that goal down, actually, because the keeper coming out first of all, but then what a finish it was.
It's a fantastic finish. Listen, he's got the whole goal to aim for, giving Shamal George rushing 25 yards out his goal and not getting enough contact on it. But listen, he's still got so much to do. It's bobbling, it's bouncing, and he makes the sufficient contact to put it in the back of the net. What a massive goal for Falkirk. What a season they're having.
Kenny, Ewan Henderson just hit the player to know the 2-1 ahead. Should have been 2-1 ahead. Good play. They've been all over Ayr United at the start of the second half. Created a chance, just a 6-yard ball. Ewan Henderson with the left foot, thought it was getting in, hit the goalkeeper's left-hand post, and Ayr United get it clear. This game is swaying towards Airdrie.
I think that's one of those. What's the goalie doing, Tom?
He actually gets there. He actually gets there, Tom, believe it or not. He gets there. Calvin Miller's made those runs in behind all day long, and he's caused issues. And Shamal George gambles. And as Andy says, the whole goal's open, but he thinks, do you know what, I'm just going to find the top corner anyway.
But why is he gambling, Rory? Why is he gambling? Like, the goalie doesn't need to be out there, right?
No, well, he doesn't have to be out there. He obviously feels he can get there first. I think he underestimates Calvin Miller's pace. And Calvin Miller, and to be fair, I mean, it could fall anywhere, and it falls to the feet of Finn Yates, who's a magnificent finish. But it's a fair point you make, Tom, because I think defenders could get back and recover in that situation.
Right, some goals. Stranraer 2-up now away at Forth Athletic. Darren Lang on 57 minutes. Queen of the South have equalised on the Kelty Hearts. Jack Scott on 61 apiece there.
Euhan's in the box, he gets cut back. You know, you see the thing about Motherwell, and I think Andy was touching this before, they work so hard off the ball. You know, they've only conceded the 16 league goals. They turned the ball over. It was a poor bit of play. I think it was Fadinger. He played the ball in behind Stephen Welsh, gave it over, Euhan breaking onto it. But the speed that Motherwell getting bodies back just to make sure that mistake didn't lead to anything else. They work their backsides off, they really do.
Yeah, it's been such a great story. Andy gave us a fascinating insight early in the programme into how the manager works, Jens Bertolasko. There's no surprise at all that he has, of course, been linked with other jobs. He's doing a terrific job through there at Motherwell. Are they actually in a title race? We'll have that debate later in the programme. Let's then get to that huge game at the bottom of the table. Amon Vale. Alan Preston is there for us. The home side still in control, Alan?
They are, and they've been the better in the second half as well. Kilmarnock have made a change. Dackers has come on for them. Tiffany's going off. They've not really been in the game, Kilmarnock, in the second half. It's been all Livingston, not creating much, but controlling possession, winning corners, getting up the park. Kilmarnock are struggling at the moment. Still 1-0 with the home side.
Thank you to Alan Preston there. Just looking at that game. Alan, actually just stick with us a minute, because it's the first game. We heard from Neil McCann at the top of the programme. He's in there alongside Billy Dodds. Have you seen anything different from Kilmarnock today? Can you see what they're trying to do with this side?
It's very early in Neil's tenure. You know, the Neil that we knew at Dundee and Inverness and clubs like that has been before likes to pass about. But I spoke to him during the week there, and he was saying that he's going to maybe have to change his philosophy to try and keep them up, because that's the most important thing for them to do. You know, is can they get some money to get some players in? I think the squad certainly has a chance here. Oh, he's hit the underside of the bar. Yengi for almost 2-0. It's really good strength against Brown. Just holds him off. Whacks it with his left foot, underside of the bar and out. Very almost 2-0 to Livingston, who have been great.
I think there's a check here for the referee, Matthew McDermott, was just holding up a corner for Hibs.
Right.
There was a moment just before a cross came in. I think it was Warren O'Hara with a header, but there was a few complaining. No, I think it's getting played on. It's play on. Yeah, play on. It's a corner kick for Hibs now. Good ball into the box. Callum Ward collects it easily. It was just that previous to that, ball into the box. Warren O'Hara was at the near post. It looked like he got a header and it was maybe going to go on target, but then it seemed like it was deflected. There's Motherwell up their end, and Salinger, he's onto it. It's intense stuff now. The goal was exactly what the game needed, just to spark it to life a little bit. Obviously, big questions now for Hibs. Are they capable of retaliating?
Michael, and it's worth saying, these are two really good sides, aren't they? We speak about entertainment in the game, and these two sides provide that most weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think obviously from Motherwell's perspective, it's been just an upward trajectory for the whole season. For Hibs, it's definitely been a fair few peaks and troughs, but the calibre of the team is clearly there, and they just need to get that consistency. For Motherwell, you know, you were talking before, are they in a title race?
Oh, what a save!
Yep.
Oh, what a chance. It's a header up the far end. Ball comes in. It's a brilliant save by Prior, almost an equaliser. I think it's Lyons in there with a header. Brilliant save.
Yeah, and just actually, when we're at that game at the moment, sticking with that game, Andy, that striker play from Yengi, the one that crashed off the underside of the bar, it was really good striker, really strong striker play, wasn't it?
It's excellent, and you know, given the game, and sometimes you have to make something out of nothing. I think he does that. The ball's in the air. He does great to hold off James Brown, spin him. I think he does everything right other than hit the ball in the back of the net. He tries to hit it across the goalkeeper on his weaker left side. He catches it sweet, but it's always rising, crash off the underside of the bar. But you have to say, if that went in, you've got to worry for Kilmarnock, because I think if Livingston get that second goal, it would be difficult for them to come back.
They're in such a dreadful run of form. Actually, Tom, we've got a Kilmarnock fan joining us later in the programme. Hold fire on that. Let's get back to Paisley. Yes, Rory Loy.
Calvin Miller brings it down on the edge of the box, not enough contact, and Calvin Miller rattles it past Jamal George. St Mirren 0, Falkirk 2.
Right, and another goal at Celtic Park.
For the home side, it's now 3-0. It was Nygren who's just actually come on the pitch. Listen, at a finish, it was about 5-6 yards out. He took his time, I've got to say. I thought the chance was gone, but then he's just dinked it over the goalie quite high into the net. Celtic an easy street now. It's been coming. They've missed a couple before this. Good finish. Celtic 3, Dundee United 0.
And the concern, Ian, as you were saying at half-time, the dilemma that Jim Goodwin has. This could be an absolute rout this afternoon, couldn't it?
Well, they did open up because they changed their back four and they put on 3 players in the forward areas trying to press the ball. They got a little bit better, but without creating any chance whatsoever. And then Celtic's got the third goal. And Hatate had a really good chance earlier, who's just been taken off actually. He had a really good chance as well. The third goal goes in. You wonder if it was worth Dundee United going to have a go. Although it's not as if they've had a real go, they just went a little bit more of an attacking formation, which clearly hasn't worked.
Right, let's then get back to Rory Loy, just a bit more detail there. I can see the Falkirk fans bouncing up and down behind that goal there. What an afternoon again for them, Rory Loy. What a season it's been for them.
Oh, quite incredible, Kenny. The atmosphere they're generating in that away end is quite something. I think it's full, to be honest. I don't see any spare seats, and the team are delivering on the pitch. Calvin Miller's been a menace all day with his runs in behind and his intelligence. I don't know what Andy thinks. Potentially the defender, I think it's King, could do slightly better in terms of his challenge on Miller, but Miller gets the break of the ball and absolutely smashes it past the goalkeeper. And those Falkirk fans will be very much thinking that the top 6 is on this season.
Yeah, I don't think Andy's had a chance to look at it. We've got all the games coming to the studio, not had a good look at that. But the Falkirk story in general, it's absolutely tremendous, isn't it?
It's incredible. And I mean, the job that John McGlynn's done with this Falkirk side is nothing short of remarkable. And stories I love about it is the fact that Calvin Miller was his player in League One. So he's came through the journey with him. He's stuck with a lot of players that he had there. Brand Spencer being another one. And I think going into this season, there were a weird one, because I think everyone appreciates how well he's done, how well this group's done, and there was some people saying, could they get top 6? There was some people saying, I think it's too big a jump, they could go back down. Well, one thing's for sure, I think they're winning a lot of people over, and not only in the league position, but how they're doing it, still controlling a lot of football games this season. And again, coming into this game, they're probably playing against a team in St Mirren that a lot of people think are in a false position, so it was going to be a real difficult game for them. And to be 2-0 up at this stage is terrific. And can they go and get a third, and can they hold on to the win?
Stephen Robinson, sorry for interrupting. I think there's a bit of a delay in the line, Andy. I do feel for Stephen Robinson in terms of the players he's lost, though. When you consider the middle of the pitch, he's down to the bare bones, and they don't have that kind of leader in the middle of the pitch to drive them forward and have that little bit of belief. So I do have a bit of sympathy there. But Falkirk haven't played particularly well today, but my goodness, have they made their chances count in the second half.
What surprises me as well, Rory, you look at the lack of goals that St Mirren have got. They've scored the least amount of goals in the league, but I think they've got 4 capable strikers there that give any team a problem.
Yeah.
So again, is that down to the lack of options that we've got in midfield to create for them? But I think the lack of goals that St Mirren have scored this season has got to be a concern.
To say that the dodgy VAR decisions that have gone against them.
That's true. I'll give them that.
That is absolutely true, Chick. So many howlers have gone against them, but where that leaves them, Tom, I know they've got a game or games in hand depending who's around them, but they're in a really challenging position, third bottom of the table right now.
Yeah, they are. 18 points, Kilmarnock on 13 below them, Livingston on 12 on the live table below them. So St Mirren, they're in a bit of trouble here, and I'm still trying to allow my mind to accept that St Mirren are in trouble at the bottom of the league. But they are.
Yeah.
And I know they're missing a lot of
They're in even more trouble now, Tom, because Shamal George is having to come off injured. He went down a moment ago, and Ryan Mullen, who's not got a great deal of experience, 45-50 appearances for Morton, is going to come on in his place. So they're down to the bare bones in terms of their injuries and things to key players. They really are. But it's a chance for Ryan Mullen, I suppose. But Shamal George has been a good player for them this season, and he's limping off injured.
Right, I want to come back to Michael. Michael, just before the goals started flying in there, you were making a point in terms of Motherwell. I was asking the question, are they in a title race? You want to jump in on that?
I'm just watching Hibs just now. They're trying to break forward again. Mulligan through the middle. Motherwell got so many bodies around. Honestly, you'll see this. There's about 6 Motherwell players in the centre of the box. Yeah. Hibs are really trying to push though as well. Johan slips out wide to Megla in, but blocked again from Longolo. They're doing really well. I was just going to say about Motherwell, 1 defeat in 14, and if they win this game, they'll go to, I think, 2 points from behind Rangers. Obviously haven't played a game more, but we say they're not in a title race, but you look at that one game that they lost at Ibrox, they should have had a penalty in the last minute. If that was a draw, they would have gone on to 40 points, and Rangers would be on 38, I think. They'd be 2 points ahead of Rangers if that game had been a draw. And we're all talking about how Rangers are right back in the hunt. So as much as I don't think Motherwell are in a title race, they're not a million miles away if they win this game.
Yeah, and I want to actually speak just a bit more about them, but let's get to Starks Park. Another goal there, Stephen Craigan.
Yeah, and it's gone for the home side. Dougie Emery made a couple of changes at half-time. One of them was Josh Mullen, and he's just got the equalising goal. It was a fantastic slide rule pass by Dylan Easton. Put him in behind the half-back line, and he put it past Aidan McAdams, 2-2.
Right, the goals are flying in. This was predicted by our pundits, Ian McCall.
Well, no guesses here. It's Celtic 4, Dundee United 0. I think it was a strike from Negrin. He tried to curl in the far corner. The goalie, I think, it looks a decent save, but he's palmed it straight out.
Save.
And it's Maeda that just went into the roof of the net. 4-0 Celtic.
Right, and straight back to Almond Vale. Alan Preston.
There's an equaliser. I think it's Dackers. Have a look at this. It's at the far end. There's a good save by the keeper. It breaks out. I think Dackers knocks it home. 1-1 here at Livingston. Game on. They were never really in the match. Neil McCann's made a few changes with Billy Dodds down there. Got themselves back into it.
Yeah, that's potentially a huge goal there, particularly after the one that just crashed off the underside of the bar from Yengi for the home side just a few minutes ago. That could have been game, set, match. That would have been 2-0. But right now, they are right back in it. Did you guys get a chance to have a look at that when they looked a bit of a scrappy effort?
Yeah, the ball comes in for the right-hand side. I'm not quite sure who it is that gets their head on it, but I think Jerome Pryor does brilliant for the initial save. Yes. The ball falls back to Dackers inside the 6-yard box. We just talked 5 minutes ago about the importance of a second goal for Livingston. Kilmarnock have got their way back in it, and it's going to be a massive last 20 minutes for both sides in this game.
Right, let me take you back to the game at Easter Road, Andy, because one of the criticisms of your side, Motherwell, at the start of the season was, if we think, say, the 3-0 at Tynecastle, getting paid back to 3-all, was not changing tactics at all, approach when you got in front in a game. Has there been a tweak to that? As a manager spoken about how will they approach things now you've got the lead at Easter Road?
Yeah, listen, I think there's been a couple of times where, holding on to a one-goal lead, the gaffers have vetted back to a back five and put an extra centre-half on. But one thing, he still wants to get pressure on the ball. He doesn't want you to sink back into your box and invite pressure.
Sparrow's missed the ball at right back. Obita's in behind. Oh, it's 1-1. Kieran Bowie, I tell you, he actually does really well. The ball gets caught. It's in behind him. Johan probably could have stepped onto it. Bowie, he puts his boot out, controls it, he swivels it, and then with his right foot, he smashes into the top of the net. 1-1, but it's a real error from Tom Sparrow at right back. It's a crossfield ball from Barlasser. He misjudges it and gets caught out of position. Obita's able to step forward, ball into the box. Bowie scores again, 1-1.
Yeah, the two elements there.
It's funny there, right? I was about to, because that goal's gone in the 69th minute. If they'd survived another minute, I was going to say, well, look at Motherwell. That's 880 minutes and they've conceded one goal. 800. I was waiting for one more minute to come out with my killer stat, and Kieran Bowie has gone and ruined it.
So it was a great finish, wasn't it?
He's finished that really well.
So you guys really want to be dedicating Rudyard Kipling's if to Motherwell. If, haven't they?
Right, what's happening in your game, Chick Young, down there at Somerset Park?
Well, Airdrie are right bang in this. Just a reminder, it's one each. And as I said earlier on, 12 victories in a row for Ayr United in their games against Airdrie. This is the 13th. It's looking at the moment for me as if it would be Airdrie who would snatch a win. The 1-1 at half-time was the situation. Cole McKinnon with Murphy getting a penalty for Ayr earlier on. They've made all sorts of substitutions. The game has ebbed and flowed, but it's been much more of Airdrie in this second half. If there's a winner, Kenny, I'm going to stick my neck out and say it's going to be Airdrie.
Yeah, listen, they've done really well to get themselves off the bottom of the table. No doubt at all about that. Ross County, a vital win for them last night. Well done to Stuart Kettlewell and his team against a high-flying Partick Thistle. Stirling Albion have equalised away at Edinburgh City. And also Queen of the South are in front of the come from behind 2-1 at home to Kelty Hearts. So another chance, Stephen Craigan, was it?
Yeah, it was almost a third goal for Raith Rovers. An in-swinging corner kick from the left-hand side from Josh Mullen. I think it was a header by Paul Hanlon, and Aidan McAdams just put it past the post. But this has been a brilliant game this afternoon. I've got to say, a tale of two halves. Our both were probably slightly better in the first half. Got themselves a 2-goal lead, but that wonder strike from Scott Brown after 58 minutes brought it back to 2-1, and since then all the momentum is with the home side. 2-2 finally poised with 17 minutes to go.
Right, Stephen Welsh has misjudged it, and then As it Priestman brings him down, there's allowed play on. Johan is running through. Stephen Welsh has got back. That's poor from the striker. It's good from the defender getting back in, but this game's really burst to life now. As I said, the first half was a little bit of a slow burner. Motherwell getting the goal, the game needed a goal, and now Hibs have replied, and it really is all hell for leather from both teams.
He's surely got to go back and book him for that, is he not? That challenge?
Well, their game's not stopped since.
Right, yeah. I mean, it looked a bad one, didn't it? Just a deliberate hauling him back when they're on a really good position. It's a great game there now, as Michael was saying in the second half. One apiece. Bowie with that equaliser on 69 minutes. Let's find out if there's any way back for the home side in Paisley. They're struggling really big time against Falkirk.
Yeah, Falkirk are popping it about now. A really, really good team move. They are built right up the pitch. We're nice and patient. Ball into Calvin Miller, popped out wide. Ball into the box and it was cleared. So they're kind of toying with St Mirren now a little bit. I don't know how many passes they've had in a row with only a St Mirren block in between. They are dominating the game, to say the least. It's still 2-0 at this moment in time, so never say never when where St Mirren are concerned, but it's not looking likely at this point, and it's still 2-0 to the away side Falkirk.
Not that it matters, but Johnny Kenny has missed a great chance for Celtic.
It was offside, Tom, that's why I never mentioned it.
Okay, yeah.
If you'd been involved in football, you would have known that, Tom.
There have been a few digs coming your way this afternoon, haven't there?
Sorry,
par for the
Tommy.
course. Par for the course. Tom, you called me worse things than that.
Not on air, though.
No. But what about United? This is a sore one for them this afternoon, Ian. I'm not sure where a lot of United fans are on the manager right now, and they will criticise perhaps not the scoreline today, but the attitude, right, the approach right from the start today was really negative, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was negative. I don't think there's any getting away from that. I mean, if they could have kept it tighter right till half time, but then they've still got to change to go and try and score a goal to get a winner. So they were on a good run. The United were on a good run, and there's no suggestion that Jim's under serious pressure. Of course not. But they've been really, really poor today. And that's 2 weeks in a row. I've seen them, and listen, coming to Celtic Park with Martin O'Neill coming back with what they've been through, losing 6 at the last 8 games with Wilfred Nonce. This is going to be a huge ask for every team that came here, and unfortunately for Dundee United it was them, but it's been 4-0 going on 6 or 7. Celtic have just changed their whole front three. Maeda, Taneki and Yang have come off, and Forrest, Luke McCowan and Johnny Kenny have come on, so they're kind of on easy street, and if there's going to be other goals, Kenny, I think it'll only be Celtic scoring them.
Ian, let me just stick with you for a second, because you worked of course with Luke McCowan. What have you made of his development? Did you always see he could be at this level?
No, I never thought that. I should have given my debut 6 months before I did, but I mean, I was at a wedding with him in the summer. It was Lawrence's wedding actually, and he stopped running with the ball. I hate that. He used to run with the ball and beat loads of players. I saw him get 2 nutmegs in a row and nearly got a 3rd nutmeg in one game. So he says he's going to start trying to beat players again this season. I just don't know where his best position is. I always liked him in a front three off the right, coming into little areas and pockets of space, and because he's got fabulous ability. I did not see him captaining in Dundee and then coming to Celtic, but I mean, I don't think he's looked out of place, Kenny. I think everybody would agree with that.
Yeah, no, listen to him well.
What a chance that is for Motherwell. Is it Saeed at the near post? It is. Ball got worked out to a wide area, worked really well, creating a bit of space for Sparrow, clipped it into the near post. There was 2 of them actually at the near post, and Saeed gets a good header on it, but he just doesn't get the angle, and he heads it right past the near post. Still 1-1.
It just sounds like a fantastic second half, Michael.
By the way,
so open, isn't it?
Priestman got booked, just so you can rest easy on that, and then he got subbed. So he's off, and Slattery's on, and there's 2 subs being made right now for Hibs. Bowie's coming off, Cleege's going on, and Chris Cadden has gone on, and Megwa is off. Scoop was at the side of me pointing just to make sure that I realised there was like, don't worry Scoop, there's 2 subs, I saw them.
You're all over it, Brian McLaughlin or Scoop there alongside Michael. Yes, Chick Young.
Unbelievable sequence of events. A harmless ball comes floating into the Airdrie box. Harry Stone goes to get it. He spills it, no one near him drops it, and then follows the most incredible series of misses. He's almost transfixed his Stone. He's like a statue looking to see what's happening. Shots firing left, right and centre, one off the line, and eventually the last one just shot off the crossbar. Ayr United should have been 2-1 up. They're not, it's still 1-1.
Right, speaking of 1-1, let's get back to that game at Amlin Vale. It's a huge game at the bottom of the table. Alan Preston is there for us. Is either side taking the initiative now, Alan?
Kilmarnock have been the better since that goal went in, but Livingston are making a double change. 2 new signings, Alex Tam's coming on, and Scott Arfield. We'll try and get Scott Arfield being one, try and get into the box. He was terrific at Falkirk last year in the promotion push. He's wanting to play football, so he's come here, so he's got himself, 15 minutes to go.
Yeah,
Still 1-1.
It's interesting, Andy. You'll know him very well. We've had him in the studio, and not just his experience on the park, but he's got that infectious personality, hasn't he? He'll be a big signing for him, you'd think, Scott Arfield.
He is, definitely. And Livingston's dressing room, they're no short of experience. They've got a lot of experienced players within that, but Scott Arfield.
It's a heavy touch from Slattery. Can Hibs capitalise? Men over. They're passing it around, but then Yuhan chokes the shot. It was just a heavy touch from Slattery. Motherwell obviously tried to build it. Slattery was in the middle of the park, didn't control it well. They latched onto it, probably played a few too many extra passes, didn't need to. If somebody had actually taken a touch, they were playing it off first time, but if somebody had actually taken a touch and turned, there was gaps there that they could have played forward a little bit quicker, I think.
Yeah, still plenty of time for a winner there. 77 minutes played there at Easter Road. Stirling Albion 2-0 now away Edinburgh City. Russell McLean with the goal in 77 minutes. And it goes back, Tom, in terms of that signing of Scott Arfield. I say we had, it was brilliant. The chairman joined us. What a character Calvin Ford is.
His
enthusiasm. We'll get back to actually, let's get to that game right now. Alan Preston.
Oh, another shot. Kilmarnock, they're screaming for a penalty kick. Jules, as he's screaming at the referee, he thinks it's a handball up the far end. It's a ball in, it's booted up in the air. He takes a wonderful touch. Not so sure if it's hit anybody, but he's adamant it's hit someone in the hand.
Right, we're waiting for a replay there, but there's no doubt there's real enthusiasm, and he's going to invest, isn't he, the chairman there? He's going to try and do their best to get them out of this, Tom, isn't he?
I think he is, yeah. I mean, he sounds well up for the fight, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Really well up for the fight. To come on the radio and speak the way he did, if I was a fan of the club, I'd be going, right, okay, this guy's got our back here. This is very, very impressive stuff.
Right, speaking of impressive stuff, Stephen Craigan, another goal at Stars Park.
Yes, indeed, Kenny. Alan was talking and didn't want to come in, but it's Scott Robinson, his 9th club in Scotland. Scott Robinson, he joined from Hamilton Accies, I think, a couple of days ago. An incredible pass right through the heart of the Wraith Rovers defence from Harry Cochrane. He had plenty of time to think about it, Scott Robinson. He just set himself up and he slid it down past the left hand of Josh Wren. Just when they looked like they were on the racks or broke, they've managed to make it 3-2 to the away side.
Yeah, and we can't underplay this one, can we, Andy? They're a part-time side. They've got 2 young co-managers there. They're 3rd in the Championship right now. They're going to be in the playoffs.
Yeah, part-time side, like he says, when they both took the job last year, bottom of League One, get promoted, and sitting in the 3rd position just now. They'd had one eye on that game last night with Ross County and Partick Thistle, and knew they could claw the deficit with they 2 at the top. So you've got to say, what's even more impressive, the fact they're 2-0 up. Wraith Rovers bring it back to 2 each. You feel as if all the momentum's with Wraith Rovers, and Scott Robinson go and get that 3rd. If they can hold on to this victory today, what a job they 2 are doing.
Kenny, so when you look at the bigger picture, they've drawn against there. They won away at Dunfermline. They beat Partick Thistle at home. They beat Ross County 3 times.
Yeah.
3 times out of 3, and suddenly they could be winning away here.
Oh, Masmanisi!
Fantastic. Right,
he's
back to Easter Road, Michael Stewart.
Oh, I think it's a deflection over the bar. I tell you,
I'm watching Andy Halliday in this studio.
The Motherwell were right in front of the dugouts. They were in a wee tight spot. I think it was Katrumbis played a lovely little ball into Fadinger. He got a great little flick back to him, and all of a sudden he's bursting through on the back line of Hibs. Huge space opened up, slipped it into Masmanisi on the inside left, and he's taking touches, just trying to work a slight opening. I thought he had it. He got the strike away, but a wee nick just took it over the crossbar. This game is really well and truly up and running now.
Yeah, we're absolutely loving it. Well, you're out injured at the moment, Andy. Did you find yourself kicking every ball? When
Johnny Kenny did have a chance there. Johnny Kenny did have a chance
back
there.
To Celtic Park.
And it was onside, but he should have cut it back. He should have cut it back. One of the players in the middle had a tap in. He's went to strike at goal. The guys can see it. I think the angle wasn't on, but if he'd have laid it inside, even James Forrest, don't know who it was, they had a tap in the empty net, but got on target, but he was never scoring from that angle.
Do you find it tough watching the games?
Yeah, I do, but do you know what? Even if I wasn't connected with Motherwell at the minute, I'd be a Motherwell fan, given how enjoyable it is to watch them. Listen, I agree with Mikey. Every time you look, it just looks as if one team's in the other opposition's box.
Yes, brilliant.
Even though it's 1 each, only 10 minutes ago, you just feel as if there's a winner there for someone. Hopefully, from my point of view, it's in the claret and amber.
You feel for Gary Caldwell. He's Exeter City manager. They're 8-0 down away at Manchester City this afternoon, right?
God, goes right across the box. It's cut back by substitute Wilson right across the box. Falkirk, there was a few opportunities they've had to make it 3-0 now. They're all over St Mirren. Yeah, it's a big chance. He's on for his debut, Ben Parkinson. I thought he might get on the end of it, but it remains St Mirren 0, Falkirk 2.
And do you know, Rory, we speak a lot about Motherwell, we speak a lot about Hibs, sides that play really attractive football. Falkirk are a really good watch.
Yeah, they are.
Oh, he almost done it. Scott Arfield almost. Unbelievable. This is end-to-end stuff, really good. Kamara up one end, Livingston have gone up the other. Smith's made a difference on the right-hand side, picks out Arfield. His shot blocked away. What either team would give for a winning goal here. Brilliant.
Do you know what I'm loving? Every so often, Tom, it flicks to the dugouts. Now we know they're two very passionate managers, Neil McCann and Davy Martindale. They are kicking every ball because there's so much at stake in this game.
Yeah, both very intense characters.
Yes.
You know, you wouldn't want to meet them after a defeat. They are. You're right. They're so animated on the touchline. They are kicking every ball.
The goalie comes out almost on the touchline. It's on his weaker right foot. You know, Anderson's closing him down, and he shows brilliant composure, the keeper.
Scariest manager you've ever worked under, Andy?
Gary Boland, my first ever manager at Livingston. I tell you what, nobody will ever come close, that's for sure. I made the mistake of calling him bald one day when I was only 16, and it's the biggest regret I've ever had in my life.
Yeah, he's quite a ferocious character, is Gary Boland, a former teammate of yours, I think. Alan, would he be?
Yeah, he was. A couple of clubs, Dundee United and St Johnstone. Nothing will compare to Jim McLean, I'm afraid.
No, he tops
I
the
will
charts.
raise you.
In fairness, I think.
Yeah, no one's touching that one.
No one's getting near that one.
Alan, it looks actually quite a decent game there this afternoon, doesn't it?
It's been very good, considering what's at stake for both clubs. And they're both going for it. And once again, Arfield's going to get a shot off. He's at the edge of the box. Keeper saves it, spills it, gets it there the second attempt. Yeah. I mean, I think David Mandel says we need to win this, and I think he will be disappointed because
Andy, Tom, have a look at this. Falkirk want a penalty. It's come into the box and it hits the centre back in the stomach. It's Mandaron actually the stomach, but it looks like he puts his arms towards the ball and he almost kind of embraces the ball with his arms. So Stephen McLean stopped the play here. Let me know if you get a wee chance to look at it.
Yeah, just for clarity before we see it, I never think anything's a penalty, so we'll soon see it.
Well, they are checking it.
Right, here we're waiting on a replay. So Steve McLean to stop play.
Yeah, stop play.
Right, so we're waiting. This is just a small screen here on the side of the studio. We're just waiting for our replay to see what the referee or the VAR team right now are looking at. So here we go. Hopefully it gives you the right angle, guys.
I think his arms seem really, really close to his body.
Because you can't give a penalty for that.
No, but listen, who knows? Given some of the handballs we've seen this year, given or not given. But yeah, I think this would be extremely harsh given the initial replay that we've seen. As I said, both arms look as if they're extremely close to his body.
To me, that's a straightforward decision.
Yeah.
No penalty, play on.
Yeah, and you're right, quicker. Quicker.
I mean, that's just a waste of time.
Just took what looks like close to a minute. We've seen within the first replay we've seen. It wasn't even a particularly great angle, and straight away we've seen no penalty. So
right, let's get back to the game at Easter Road. Just every time I look up, there's a chance after chance here, Michael. It's fantastic.
Yeah, now Hibs are breaking. Johan, but you'd loathe to be a midfielder in a game like this because it's just end to end. You know, it's like you can tell there's a few of them that are feeling the pace because the game is so stretched. There's not a great deal of control to it. It's one team attacks, the next team attacks, and the midfielder having to cover so much ground just to try to get up to contact with the game. And as soon as they do, the ball starts swinging back the other way. It's certainly, Andy was just saying that it certainly feels like there is another, it feels like there's another goal there. There's definitely more chances, that's for sure. Just whether the team's going to be clinical enough to finish it off.
Michael, we're having a good chat about the tactics, particularly of Jens Bertolascu earlier on. Has either manager changed anything significantly today during the game?
No, not really. I mean, there's been slight nuances in terms of like the subs that have been made, and you're looking at Sparrow that's like on the right hand side here. He's been in a number of different positions. I wouldn't say it's tactical. Like Maswinisi as well, he's through as a number 9, but then the movement and the interchange between him, Just, Said, there's a lot of movement and interchange. I wouldn't say it's a tactical thing. I think it's just very good play between the teams, the players playing off of each other. And for Hibs, they've got a fairly settled structure. They exert a lot of energy. They've got a lot of energy in there from Mulligan in particular. But I just think, I don't know whether it's tiredness or whether it's just a lack of, they've got quality, but a lack of quality in this game. in the final third, especially in the last 10 minutes. I feel like Mulligan's got into some really good positions, but he's just getting like hounded by too many players and then giving the ball away. Both teams are very good teams, and you can tell that they are. There's a reason why they are up in the positions they're in, and they're going to take points off a lot of the big clubs this season. There's no question of that for me.
Yeah, that's for sure.
A couple of extra subs just there. Motherwell are making a double sub. There's Elijah just coming off, and Jordan McGee is about to go on, and Liam Gordon is going on as well, and I think it's Stephen Welsh over on the far side. He was one of the guys that was stretching off a fair bit as well. Some tired bodies on there.
Yeah, no wonder they're giving everything in that game at East Road. Stennismuir 4, East Fife 0. Dale Carrick with the latest goal in that game. Let's get into the Championship. We're covering 2 matches there this afternoon. First stop, Somerset Park. Chick Young is there for us. Any sign of a winner there, Chick?
Well, I said to you, if it was going to be a goal, it would come for Airdrie. They've been good. They're getting forward time after time. It's so too Aberdeen United. The 90 minutes, Kenny, have actually come and gone here. Remember, it's 1 each. Both goals coming in the first half. Jamie Murphy with a penalty, and then the equaliser from Cole McKinnon just before half time. The second half has been much better in terms of quality, much more Aberdeen United in it. They are pressing, trying to get forward now, and the game is ebbed again to Ayr United, who are trying to get forward well into time added on. 1-1, which is probably, here's a chance for Ayr, just a shot pulled and past the post. Yeah, it's to be a huge win for either of them for different reasons. Airdrie at the bottom, of course, Ayr United, and you've talked about Arbroath this afternoon, trying to keep on and among that playoff place, the top 4. They're really not going to get it this afternoon, I don't think. We're way into time added on, Kenny, and it remains at the moment Ayr United 1, Airdrie 1.
Another double sub here at Easter Road, just to hammer home the point I was making about midfield. There's two of the Hibs midfield coming off, Burlasser and Mulligan, and replacing them is Joe Newell and Dylan Levitt.
Right, Chick mentioned Arbroath there. They are on course for another 3 points. Stephen Craigan?
They are indeed, Kenny. We're into added time here at Starks Park, and since they got that goal 9 minutes to go, they seem to have settled a little bit more. Wraith Rovers are trying to force the issue, over-hitting passes. Another touch there just dribbled out of the pitch. So they've managed the game really well. They've got good experienced players. And of course, Scott Robinson making his debut this afternoon. Could he be the match winner? I have to say, David Gold and Colin Hamilton are doing an incredible job. And they could be within 4 points of Partick Thistle in second place in the championship table. But yeah, there's still 2 or 3 minutes to go.
Right, let's get back to Alan Preston. Al, I think I just saw the board got there into extra time, into stoppage time now.
It's going to be a free kick. 4 minutes added on. We're 2 minutes into that. Honestly, it could be anyone's game here. They're both going for it, although Livingston now have a free kick. You're talking about 30 yards out, just right to centre of the goal. They're going to load the box. I can't see it being a hit from here. Maybe Smith, I've seen hit them before. Arfield's going to be over the ball. Referee's trying to get the wall back. It'd be such a big goal for Livingston if they could get this.
Right, we'll go back to Alan. Check, that's full-time whistle.
It's full-time. It's a vital point for Airdrie at the bottom of the table. We'll take some 2 points clear of Queen's Park tonight. But Ayr United now, as they sit 7 points, I think, behind Arbroath, assuming that.
Oh, what a run from side. What a run. Oh, it gets blocked. I tell you, he skipped through a gap that just wasn't there.
Oh, brilliant.
Dropped his shoulder between two. Eventually, he gets snuffed out. Him and, it's been him and Just for most of the game. Just playing off of the striker, dropping into little pockets of space in behind the Hibs midfield, and they've got on the ball a lot. Obviously, Just's gone off now, but certainly for most of the game, the two of them have had a really big impact on it. It's really good game, turned into a really good game.
And we should also mention, Michael, as well, they're missing probably their best player this season this afternoon, Elliot Watt.
Full time at Celtic Park.
All right, we'll come back to you, Michael. Right, let's get to
I thought you were going to say he's in the studio with you.
He's injured.
There's about 23 in front of me, unfortunately, for that one.
Right, Ian McCall, full-time, Celtic Park. You there, Ian?
The game and up. Yeah, I'm here. That was Martin O'Neill. The final score is Celtic 4, Dundee United 0.
Right, OK, we'll get back and get a full-time report there from Ian Yang opening the scoring there. It was a cruise, you'd have to say, for the home side. They could have had a few more in that match. Let's get back to Alan Preston. Dying stages here at Allenvale, Alan.
Yeah, Livingston wanted a penalty kick. It seemed to hit the shoulder of the Kilmarnock player. Not a penalty kick for me. The referee took his time. Obviously got the instruction from the VAR studios to say no penalty kick. This looks like it's going to end up 1-1, which will probably suit Kilmarnock. Will still be that 4 points ahead of Livingston. And this will be a missed opportunity, I think Davey will see. But I think a draw is a fair result. If it stays like this, Livingston are piling forward again. Almost there, but it's and they're going to have a corner. Livingston have just won a corner. This must be in the last knockings of the game here.
Yeah, we'll stick with you.
Oh, Masmanisi chokes the shot. Longolo's at the back post. He saved it. It's behind for a corner. I tell you, Motherwell opened up Hibs brilliantly. Slattery's running down the right-hand side.
Safe.
Oh, very good save.
Somebody's gone down in the box, and then, I mean, it looks like nothing now. Saeed goes over very easily, and then I think one of the Hibs players goes down very easily. I think Saeed maybe done something. Then the Hibs player goes over to Saeed, and he goes down too easily.
I've not seen it yet, Mikey, but it looks like a Stonewall penalty to Motherwell to me.
Honours even at Livingston, 1-1.
Right, honours even there, so we'll get round the grounds, we'll get some more detail for you there. One apiece, a really vital goal there in the second half for Neil McCann on his debut as Kilmarnock manager. Still playing at the Smythe Stadium in Paisley. Rory Loy.
Yes, indeed, and I know there's been a few games on a knife edge in the last 10 minutes up and down the country. This certainly isn't one of them. Falkirk in full control. St Mirren have had bits of play here and there, but again, I'll repeat it. Make no apology for repeating how many times they've given the ball away in the final third and it's broken down. And Falkirk fully deserve their win on this second half showing, so I don't see much more action taking place. We're in the 92nd minute, 94 will be time up, so it's still St Mirren 0, Falkirk 2.
And still playing at Starts Park, Stephen Craigan.
Yeah, one of their both players was down with a head knock. The managers were trying to get him on his feet, but once you've had a head knock, clearly the referee has to bring the physio on, so there will be an extra minute or so to be played, but I think Arbroath will manage to see this over the line. Still 3-2.
Right, so 3-2 to the away side there. Let's get back to Michael Stewart. It's been a fantastic match this afternoon at Easter Road. We gave it the big build-up. It certainly delivered, certainly in the second half. Michael, Motherwell in the attack at the moment, is it?
Here's
No.
Clegy. No, it's up the other end now. Clegy's running through. Great tackle from again. Timed perfectly. Just as Clegy looked like he was going to be breaking through. And then, of course, what does that do? It sets up Motherwell for an attack now. Katrumbis on the right-hand side has sort of died a death. The momentum's gone, but Motherwell got the ball round about the halfway line now. It's the first half was a slow burner. It wasn't like a poor game, but it lacked any real sort of goalmouth action and a little bit of bite. Certainly, the game needed a goal, and that's what happened early in the second half with Motherwell getting the goal, and it's burst to life since then. Plenty about it, loads of tackles as well, and good play end to end. And we've got 4 minutes injury time. I think we are trying to see there, pretty close to it, but I would imagine there's probably going to be another opportunity before this game finishes.
Yeah, it's interesting. All the pictures coming to the studio here. What I can see right now is Neil McCann with referee Don Robertson. Neil's clearly very unhappy with something during that game. I'm not sure. He's just making his point to the referee. He's kind of waving away and having absolutely nothing to do with it. Neil is not letting it go as they walk off the park there. He's clearly very frustrated, but he'll be delighted his side fought their way back into that game. It finished one apiece there. We'll hear more from Alan just shortly. We'll give you the classifieds. We'll run through the tables for you. We're off telly around about 5:10. The conversation continues on Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland right through until 7 o'clock. Reaction to come from managers, pundits, and of course the fans. Plenty to discuss this evening.
That's the full time here at Easter Road. It ends 1-1.
Yeah, it's been a great game there this afternoon, Tom, hasn't it? Just two sides with loads of quality and real attacking intent from them both this afternoon.
Yeah, but both teams very, very easy on the eye. Motherwell terrific, as we've been saying for the longest time now. Hibs on their day are a fine team. Bowie scores a goal, fine goal
That's
for him.
full time at the Smythe Stadium. Falkirk run out 2-0 winners.
Thanks to Rory Loy.
So those two teams they've stepped up big time this season. I think both of them, Motherwell in particular, but Hibs as well. And it was a really entertaining second half, as Mikey says. Loads of chances, end to end. Ball and play time must have been ridiculous because it's every time you looked up at the screen, one side or the other was on the attack. It was really good.
Yeah, we'll do the classifieds for you just in a couple of minutes.
Kenny, that's full time here at Starks Park. Raith Rovers 2, Arbroath 3.
Right, thank you to Stephen Craigan there. Just a full time coming through. Cove Rangers 0, Inverness, Cali, Thistle 0. So what we'll do is we'll run through all the classifieds for you this afternoon, and we will also go through the tables, and we'll bounce around the grounds and give some more detail for you. Some really big games right across the country this afternoon. We'll do the classifieds then. We'll start in the